Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Randomly Generated Podcast. I'm, of course, your host. Wow, I about said Gingerdragon. I was looking at you on Skype while I was talking. I'm your host, Fedora Gamer.
I accept the promotion, but,
Good,
hey.
you can do all the work now. It's a pain in the ass to find guests.
Alright, well, Randomly Generated Podcast is being hosted on Twitch from now on. You heard it.
Scumbag.
We're doing work.
And that is, of course, my co-host, Gingerdragon.
Hey.
And this week's guests are... They're both British, and that wasn't by design, I swear to God. It wasn't intentional.
I'm Australian.
Close enough. That was actually a pretty good impersonation for at least saying a non-Australian. You may have offended Australians, I'm not sure. But it sounds good to me, so I'm fine with that. But that would be... Do you mind if I use your name, or do you have a pseudonym you would prefer to be called by?
No, just call me Paul.
Paul, the dev of NeonXSZ?
XSZ.
Okay, I knew I was going to get that wrong. I knew it.
Just call it Neon.
Yeah,
it was originally called Neon until I got a trademark dispute. So I thought, what random letters can I put on the end that'll get me a .com, and nobody will ever give me a trademark dispute. So XSZ went on the end.
So it's basically you typed Neon and then headbutted the keyboard and stuck with that.
Oh man, I was there for days because this was the 6th name the game had already had. Because I kept finding other games with the name, and I wanted something totally and utterly unique. So I kept firing it into Google, and I wanted no hits. And when I put in NeonXSZ, just randomly, it was at the time I was just XSZ. I didn't think it actually said anything, but it got 2 hits on Google, and neither of them were actually those letters in that order. I don't know why it even hit them. So I went, okay, well it works. I can have the .com, but what does it mean? And I went, oh look, it says XSZ. That'll do.
It kind of fits the theme. I mean, it seems like a model name for something tech-wise, you know?
Yeah, well, it's like NeonXS was gone, and NeonX was gone, because I wanted to call it NeonX, because X is related to spacey games a lot, so... it's not the nicest name in the world, it doesn't roll off the tongue, it's not easy to remember, but nobody else is going to give me a trademark dispute, so...
I believe it's Number Wang.
Number Wang?
Yeah, it's Number Wang.
Number Wang?
It's a painfully British joke.
Oh, I don't get it, and I'm British. Oh no, sorry, I'm Australian, aren't I? I forgot.
It's too British for you. It's really British when it's too British for a British person.
Yeah, what's Number Wang?
It's Mitchell and Webb sketch.
Oh, right. Okay. Not a fan. Mitchell a fan, not Webb.
We're going to have a British throwdown going on here at this point. I have no idea what... Okay, English for a second. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but it sounds interesting apparently. And that would be our other guest. That is HayzeMH.
Yep. Hello. Hey, gals and guys.
Thank you for joining us. Funny story. We were supposed to have Crony, and he bailed on us. Fuck you, Crony. No, I'm joking. You're awesome, Crony.
God damn it, Crony.
We'll have Crony in the future, but... He had a surprise wedding all of a sudden, and Hayes was kind enough to step up and fill in very last minute, and we greatly appreciate that. She came recommended from Paul, and I haven't seen her stuff, but British accent, so I'm definitely going to start watching her YouTube videos. And I glanced at her channel, and she has an Oculus, which makes me super jelly.
Yeah.
Jelly hater.
I have access to one.
She has access to an Oculus. She plays Antechamber in Oculus. I saw that in the thumbnail, and I have to watch that video later. I have to. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You might end up ripping your own hair off watching me attempt to solve some of the puzzles, but I don't think I do that badly because I haven't played it before. So.
Yeah, you can't be worse than some people out there.
Yeah.
No, that game is brain melting. There's no shame in that.
It's beautiful.
I wish I had the time to play it. I wish I had the time to play anything.
Yes. Finish your game. Problem solved.
Yeah. All right. That's just another 9 months on top of the 2.5 years I've already spent on it. But yeah, we'll get there.
Eventually. How long have you spent on it?
2.5 years so far. Over.
sounded like 9.5 years to me for a second. I was just like, holy
No.
Christ.
Whoa.
No, this is I've scheduled about another 9 months before I think I'll be pretty much content complete on it.
Well, in its current state, it's pretty damn wonderful, so I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with the first segment that we usually get out of order, is the GIF of the day. And I have one this time.
Okay, good, because I didn't. Yeah, it's a little side segment. We just like to display. Did he just do what I think he did?
He killed a helicopter with a log.
Video games!
That's
Yeah, that's a GIF.
You can play GIFs in the chat of Hitbox? That seems distressing.
GIFs,
Only,
JPEGs.
only mods can do it after an incident that I'm sure you can imagine what happened.
Yeah.
It was everyone could do it for about 2 minutes before they changed that.
Yeah.
All the porn.
I think it shows a certain level of naivety from the people who developed the site if they allowed that at all.
Yeah, well,
Welcome to the internet.
It's definitely short-sighted.
yeah. But you can
And now,
images, GIFs, you can embed YouTube videos into the chat. It is a really cool feature, and one of the things that makes me really love Hitbox, as well as built-in polling.
Now that I can see being cool.
Yeah, and as well as built-in raffling, which is a part of the polling, the whole system they made for the polls. They made it into also being able to do a built-in raffle system. I've never actually used it yet, but those are the two most things used in streams: raffles and polls.
Yeah.
It's freaking amazing. I actually suggested to them the raffle system. They're like, we could probably make the poll do that, so that we're already working on, so we'll do that. They're very open to feedback. I've actually had one of the admins on the podcast, Damon. Danson? There we go, Danson. Cool guy. He's awesome, and it's just I love Hitbox. I'll just say I love Hitbox. It's got a lot of cool features like that, and I cannot stop watching that GIF. It's amazing. That person is a god amongst men.
Oh, I can't stop watching that gift because it infinitely loops and nobody else is talking in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fired.
we definitely seem to be a little light on a little less viewers than normal today. I don't know if people are busy for something, but the podcast gets most of its views on the VOD on my channel, so we do what we can to get the people and the dev on the podcast as much exposure as we can. So, but we're small fries anyway. Well, Gingerdragon's a hell of a lot bigger than me, actually. We should probably put the VODs on your channel. That would kind of make more sense, wouldn't it?
They probably would. Again, I just need to get off my lazy ass and get it set up so I can stream the podcast on my end as well.
Or you could just set up a playlist on your channel of the VODs.
That would be a good idea, too.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Although it wouldn't show up in the subscriber feed, so it probably wouldn't be as helpful as you think it would be, but
there's a
might
way
help
to do it so that it does, as far as I know, or maybe it just shows up on the channel page if you put it there.
yeah, it would definitely show up on the channel page, and yeah, again, that would definitely help, but
Yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to what we've been playing this week. Let's start with Gingerdragon.
What, me? Already? Alright. I see how it is. Rex Rocket, of course, the awesome 2D action platformer.
It is fantastic.
It is, except for one room in the barrack zone. Fuck that room. But the rest of the game is bloody amazing. But there's one room where the game suddenly thinks it's Super Meat Boy, and I absolutely hate it. But you know what? Every game has that one location, that one zone, that one bloody boss, that one something that you hate.
That game is just hard in general. Or, well, I
Yeah,
suck at it, but
Fedora,
it is a hard game.
you haven't seen the room, damn it.
Yeah.
If you ever get to that room, you'll know my pain.
I die a lot in that game. Made by our buddy Robbie. He was on the podcast last week, and it is fantastic. It just recently released on Steam. And grab a link for it. Throw it in the chat.
Oh, sure. Well, let me go fetch that. Yeah. Where is it?
I've actually was following that game since it was on Kickstarter. It was a small, modest Kickstarter. I think it had a small goal, wasn't getting much attention, and that's when I first met Robbie, the dev. I hit him up to see if there was something playable that I could make a video of, but he never got something that was playable during the Kickstarter. It succeeded, barely, and then I've been buddies with him ever since. We've had him on the podcast twice. Once when it was in early beta, and then when it launched, we brought him back on the podcast.
How's it done on Steam?
I'm not sure. It was only a few days after its launch when he was on the podcast last, so I haven't.
Yeah, and
asked
I
him
remember
yet.
I saw a popular Twitch streamer playing it with like 500 views, so hopefully that'll help it out quite a bit.
It's definitely a niche game. You know, the artistic style or the aesthetic of it is, I like it, but it's definitely something that a lot of people are going to be like, ew, because it's, looks like a retro game, which it's supposed to. It's pixel art.
But that's
It's
popular
pretty
now.
bloody good pixel art. I'd hardly call it retro, honestly.
It is really good pixel art. I actually watched a stream of Robbie doing some of the pixel art and animations during the early development. He was live streaming some of it. It was really cool to watch him do that because I have no talent for any of that kind of thing. All right, did you find? Oh, you got the link. What else you been playing?
Yeah. That's mainly. I played some more NeonXSZ last night because I was tired of driving around in my little baby Corvette and wanted to get a bigger ship, which I knew I was on the brink of getting.
Now, how deep into it are you?
I'm one of those challenge spheres away from completing the first station.
Nice. And how
But
many
it's
hours
tech
does that
level
take?
12, so I'm having to do a little bit of grinding to get up there.
I don't even know what Challenge Sphere is, so he's further in than I am.
They're the actual combat zones, like the really hella fun combat zones. I love them. They're stupidly fun to go around and fight in.
Now,
Yeah, they're scripted events rather than being like just the open world random procedure generated areas.
Like you go
awesome.
from point to point and have to fight in these various arenas that change around. I had one arena where there was just every single time I killed an enemy, as far as I could tell, like the arena would shrink because there were pistons that would close in. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's the fourth one. That's the end one that you're on now. Yeah.
I love that
it's
evil
just-
dev laugh. I love that.
Yeah. It's just like you make these things and you think, oh, people are going to enjoy that, because like it's the fourth arena I made and the others were like, okay, I'm still learning, I'm still getting good at this and learning what I can do with it. And then I had this idea for this great big box room with pillars that come in and squash the room down. And I thought people will love that as soon as they see it. And it's just, yeah, it makes me laugh when somebody talks about it for the first time.
I
I
kind
did
of
feel really bad for one of the challenge spheres though, because I went into it. What was it? I went into it with it was the second sphere I ever took on, because the first one was tech level 7, which was where I was at. Then I go into this one, I see it's tech level 4. It's just like, oh, this isn't right. This is just gonna end horribly for them.
Yeah.
Kind of bad.
I mean, you can play the whole game just on the challenge arenas. You don't need to go anywhere else. You can actually, as soon as you start the game, you can complete the first one, but people don't find them until later. And as you found out with the game, I don't really guide people at all. It's like this big adventure, and you make your own way in the world and discover things in your own time.
I was lost. It took me 20 minutes last night to find my way back to home base so I could equip some things I picked up. I was pretty lost today. There isn't any hand holding in that game, which I absolutely respect. It's too much of that in the games these days.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like originally when the game came out, it was that I never wanted a tutorial, but it was just horribly confusing. And it was just a case of just playtest it with as many people as possible until I found out all the things that really confuse people and only give them tips about those things. And I'm still tuning that, I still want to avoid a tutorial and only tell you the absolute essentials. And then I want the rest of it. If you tell people too much, you lose that sense of discovery, and that's a psychological reward on its own. When you find something, like when you find the challenge arenas, you'll go, oh my God, I didn't realize these were in the game. And it's just that moment that feels nice. And if I'd taken you through that in a tutorial, it's ruined. So
Yeah,
a little bit of a
when I
gamble.
stepped into one of those for the first time, it was just like, oh man, there's like pistons going around, pushing me around, and people are shooting. It's crazy.
But
Also, literally impossible to tell which way is up in those, which I really like.
yeah.
yeah.
But as you said, it's not very tutorialized. But mechanic-wise, you have the information there for people. You have the help section that's like the size of an encyclopedia. But it only tells you these are the most important things to read to get started in the game, and it doesn't tell you about like the things like the spheres and whatnot. But it definitely mechanically wise, it's got the information there if you want to look for it.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I wanted to get. The idea was, I want to throw somebody in at the deep end, and you're meant to be this anomaly in the system, and you don't know why you're there. So by putting a tutorial, it's kind of like spoils that in a way. I want it to be like mysterious and confusing at the start, but then I want the player to get that psychological reward of finding it all out and enjoying those moments of discovery. I think the games it's like going back to the games in the 90s. All the games in the 90s were like that. You start playing them, and you haven't got a clue what's going on, but you start to enjoy it more and more as you uncover it all.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is you're going to give everybody a handbook, a little paper thing that you can go through and learn the names of all the enemies.
No.
That'd be like the
Not saying
90s.
that. I'm saying I'm not giving you a handbook. It's your job to find that out. There is, I don't know if you, because Hayes has played it, but it was quite a long time ago. It was about 6 months ago and Hayes played it. I don't know how extensive the help manual was in the game at the time.
I don't believe it was.
Well, now that's in there, but it's like it only directs you to a few pages of it, like the essentials, and the rest of it's there. It's like, if you want it, it's there, but it's up to you whether you read it. I don't want to force you through anything. If you want to read it, it's there. All the information's there if you want it, but otherwise, just do your own thing.
Well, it was one of the parts of feedback that I gave you for my mileage, that I thought the entire experience needed a bit more context.
Yeah, but it's a very different game to the game you played, Hayes. The big sphere in the middle of the world is now open and full of challenge arenas. All these scripted
I remember you saying
things.
you were going to add that. It
Yeah,
sounds awesome.
And that's how exactly how it played out for me when I was playing it for the first time last night. I read the things that tells you these are the important things. Flew around, did some stuff. There's something else I wanted a little more information on. I went back and read a little bit more on something, and it works out well that way. It's a lot more organic, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's like a game, it's sort of like one of those games that drops you in, without you knowing anything, but you don't have to go to the internet to access the wiki. The wiki's in the game itself, so that's nice.
To a certain extent, but that's still quite shallow compared to the game.
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
an awful lot of features in the game that aren't mentioned anywhere in the help manual, and it's there for you to just discover on your own.
Yeah, like with me just reading every single thing in the help manual, I still had to spend I'd say 20 to 30 minutes just making sure I did actually understand everything.
All right, well, we'll talk a little bit more about Neon here. Let's move on with this segment a little bit, because we'll be playing a lot of Neon here in a little while.
Oh yeah.
Hayes, what have you been playing this week?
Oh God. Space Engine. Actually, no. We tried to play Space Engineers this week, and turns out the latest patch has broken it. So.
Oh, that's not good.
Well.
So I ended up spending the rest of the night that I was going to be playing Space Engineers with Fatima, who's quite often on my YouTube channel with me. I ended up playing Firefall for a short while, and once we realised that was awful, we played Robocraft. Which is actually a lot of very silly fun.
I don't think I've heard of Robocraft.
It's like it's like World of Tanks, but you kind of voxel build your own tanks. And there's only a couple of designs you can really go for. They're mostly boxes with wheels covered in gun, but
I have
you get
played
to vary
this.
amount of gun.
They had a different name for it a little while ago, didn't they? They just recently changed the name, I think.
No idea. It's just I just recently saw it pop up in Steam, and it's free to play, and
Yeah.
so we gave it a go.
Let me look
I'm
at
just looking at it.
Steam.
I've been meaning to pick it up. I saw it on the Steam front page a few times,
Yeah.
and I meant to pick it up. It was just like, eh.
Yeah, I haven't sunk much time into it. However, I have to say, it depends on how the free-to-play progression in it is. Will depend on how worthwhile it's playing. Because if you progress quite quickly and get new stuff quite sort of regularly, then I think it would be quite cool, and something you can go and have some silly fun for a few hours every couple of days. However, if you have to put money in it to get anything new at any sort of decent rate, I don't think it's worth investing time in, because as I say, it's just silly fun.
This isn't the game I was thinking of. The description sounded a lot like a game that I had an alpha sent to me for a while ago.
Oh,
And look, I'm watching the trailer for this, and it's very similar, just much more fleshed out than that alpha I had.
yeah.
Are you thinking about Scraps?
No,
That's very, very similar to this. And
TerraTech, I think. Yeah, TerraTech is the alpha I got sent to me.
Right.
Oh.
And so apparently it's a
Interesting.
thing. It's a new genre that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon for.
It's the new thing.
Yeah, I do
Oh,
remember
dear.
hearing about what was it, Terratech? You said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching Scott Manley play a bit of that. That one looked interesting.
Yeah, but it looks a lot like this. Looks a lot like it, just a lot better. Like Terratech's very basic, so this looks cool because you got like the blocks flying off, taking damage and stuff. That looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the depending what blocks are taking off your tank or your flying vehicle or whatever, it sort of essentially adapts how you control your vehicle.
So like you can actually lose your rear thruster and everything goes wrong. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
You'll find what is quite common is that you'll be blown down to nothing apart from two wheels and your control chair, and you just try to get the hell out of there and just cause people trouble by staying alive.
That actually sounds
So
really
there's that.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, playing that coming off the back of Firefall was good because Firefall is bad. I'm not even going to qualify it. It's bad. There we go.
Why is it bad?
Fine. Okay, it's right. It's got all the gameplay of a mid 2000s first person shooter. It's trying to be like an MMO first person shooter, and it's taken the worst parts of both genres. In fact, I wouldn't even say it's taken much from the first person shooter genre. The art style of it is beyond awful. The whole thing looks awful. I was comparing it earlier to Champions Online, and that sort of art style, and just how it visually looks and presents. And also the opening cinematic starts with a guy, big burly guy, in his big burly like Gears of War style rip-off Space Marine armor, and then a girl in a sci-fi greebled leotard, and that game can fuck off.
It should be the other way around.
You don't mince your words, do you?
Why bother? Well, it was like the very beginning, the opening scene of the opening cinematic just rubbed me up the wrong way so badly, and then the game just really didn't deliver. It was just it felt clunky. It was unintuitive. It was you didn't get much information despite how visually cluttered the whole experience is, and the tutorial is. The whole tutorial area is just kind of yeah. You don't even need to be there. These NPCs will walk through and do it all for you. I'm like, okay, is that you trying to engage me with the rest of the game? Okay, thanks.
The way you describe it, it sounds to me like it wasn't designed by somebody who wanted to make a game that they wanted to play. It was designed by, like, for want of a better word, suits who were making a game they think everybody wants to play. That, like, picking things that they think are popular in other games. But
Yeah,
the
that
players
wouldn't
don't actually
surpri-
want that.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me because you don't make an MMO on a small budget.
No.
So it's got to be a big budget game, and it just doesn't feel like that. I could be totally wrong. It could legitimately be like an indie MMO. I mean, I very much doubt it. But if you want an FPS MMO, just go play PlanetSide 2. That game's so good. Oh, I love it.
It
TR
is
for life.
fantastic.
Yes, actually.
Oh, finally, someone who agrees that TR is the best.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
God,
you.
where else do you get Bert? You need to go out with Bert and Pam.
I don't remember what faction I was playing when I last played that.
I don't know, you kind of strike me as a Vanu sovereignty, Fedor. You kinda strike me
TR
as
is
one
a
of those
red,
guys.
right?
What was that?
TR is like red and black theme mostly.
Yeah, they're the black.
I
red
think
black.
I think I had a Vanu character and a TR character, but I think I mostly played TR.
Yeah. You do not
if
seem
you-
like a new conglomerate at all.
Well, if you're going to play Vanu, please go and pick up your purple spandex. We'll be delivering your body weight in bullets to you very shortly. As we're the only people who are civilized enough to use bullet.
I'm just jelly that you're all talking about all these great games you're playing at the moment, and I just don't get any time to play any. Like 10 minutes of Quake Live the other day because I just felt I need to play something and I want to shoot something, and it was just like, oh no, I need to rest now. I've done enough. So you carry on talking about games, and I'll just sit here and just wish I could have the time to play them.
Don't worry. Soon we'll be playing your game, and then you can chat it up.
And this is coming from a hardcore gamer who would just spend his life buried in front of games until the moment I started developing one, and then it all changes.
That's a great segue. Paul, what have you been playing?
Smooth.
Right, there was no. I was watching television. Quake. I played Quake Live for 10 minutes. That's it. I can't. That's it. The last game I played before that was I can't even remember the name of it now. The Divinity Original Sin.
I need to pick
RPG.
up. I need to pick that game up.
It had this. I was enjoying it. I'd spent about 7 hours over the weekend when I got to a point where it kept rebooting my PC. And I don't know whether that was a problem with the game, which is probably unlikely, or a problem with my computer.
So your PC
It just rebooted.
Okay.
Huh.
You're running Windows 7, I assume?
No, I'm a poor indie dev. I'm still running Windows Vista.
Oh, God. That's your problem.
No, I don't have that. I've never had this problem ever on any other game. And I think it's actually probably my power supply was just getting to the end of its lifespan, because it did actually happen once while I was developing Neon, and I just thought it was a glitch, and then a few days later I ran into it in Divinity Original Sin, and then it happened like I rebooted and started again, and it happened again 2 minutes later in the same place, and then again, and I went, okay, I can't afford to break my computer right now. I'll leave this game for a little while.
What's probably happening is you're probably getting blue screens of death. Basically, Vista and 7 have a setting where it will just automatically restart instead of showing it to you, because if you pretend it doesn't exist, it's not a problem, right? That's Microsoft's theory on that.
It's a feature, not a bug, obviously.
There's a setting you can turn off so it'll actually display them. So that might be it, or it might be power supply, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a power supply, because when it started to happen, I took the power supply out, and it was just a big fat ball of dust that needed cleaning out. I just pulled it all apart, and it was just, I mean, it's like 6-year-old. You're talking Vista here when I bought this machine, so it's like 6 years worth of dust in there, just big balls of it. So I could have broken it slightly. It probably doesn't kick out the juice it used to. But I don't want to experiment with it, because until the game comes out soon, so maybe I'll get some more income in, but I'm really down to my last pennies now. I don't need a dead PC at the moment.
All right, everybody go buy his game so he can buy a decent computer.
Yeah, just buy a power supply. It'd be good. Forget the computer. I just a working power supply so I can play a game once in a while.
Oh, in Windows 7, for the love of God. Oh, yeah. Vista's so bad.
Just become a college student. Then Windows 7 is like dirt cheap.
I've never had a
Still
problem
not
with
that cheap.
Vista. What's
Really?
the big deal? I've never had any problem at all with Vista. I don't understand.
Well, I wouldn't say dirt cheap, but you
Yeah,
definitely pick it up.
Vista. It was way over bloated. It takes up ridiculous amounts of system resources just for the OS. Like,
Yes,
the amount
true.
of bloat on that is horrible.
But the amusing thing is, Windows 8 is going the exact same way.
Windows
Because
8.
they're now not continuing the development of it, are they? They're moving straight on to 9 now.
Yeah, no, 8 is
Yeah.
actually... Metro UI is garbage, and what they did with the desktop and stuff sucks. But 8 under the hood is amazingly more efficient than even Windows 7. It is actually a great operating system besides the UI, and that's what kills it for me. I won't touch 8 because of that.
Well,
was
as I
reading
understand, you can just ignore the UI. Like, you can go into your typical desktop, like, with a click of a button.
Kinda, but the bad thing, the most annoying thing about it with Metro is it doesn't know what it wants to be, because you'll go into certain parts of Metro, then all of a sudden it'll just drop you to desktop to go to it because there's no Metro for it. And if you're going through certain things on your desktop, all of a sudden it pops you back into Metro when you don't want it to be, because it doesn't exist outside of Metro. And it's very like flip-floppy like that, which makes it ridiculously annoying.
Yeah, it just sounds inconsistent,
It
Yeah.
very much is.
even with itself.
I mean, I have had no problems with Windows 7, so I really don't need to.
Yeah, I upgraded straight from XP to 7 and barely noticed a difference. And the only differences I did notice were improvements. So
Yeah, as Stone said, it's bipolar. It very much is. 9, I'm looking forward to, but this is a trend with Microsoft that I
Yeah.
swear they do it intentionally. Every other version of Windows sucks. 95 was garbage, 98 was good, ME was garbage, XP was good, Vista was garbage, 7's good,
Well,
8 is garbage.
I think they just hit on a good thing with XP, or yeah, well, with XP and the whole sort of setup there, and they've kind of almost backed themselves into a corner because they do XP, they try something a bit new, it sucks, then they do something just like XP, and then they try something new, which sucks, and so they have to build something just like XP again.
9, it looks like it's going to be good. It will have a real start menu. The start menu is kind of a hybrid. It looks a little Metro-y, but it's still an actual start menu. And I like it. It looks good from what I've seen. The prototype testing version will be out in end of September, I think is the estimate. And I will go to 9, but I won't touch 8 because there's a lot of features in 8 that I want. And and it's just a lot more efficient, and there's a lot of great stuff under the hood that they did with 8. But I'll wait for 9, which will have all of that as well as actual usable UI. So
Yeah. So unless we're going to sit here and review Minesweeper for Windows 9, do you think we should move on to the actual game topic?
Sure.
I don't know. I like Minesweeper. No, not really.
Let's get the Minesweeper dev in here. Come on.
Hey, that was my attempt at a segue.
That's a challenge for you. See if you can find the Minesweeper dev and get him in here. Not tonight, but for one night.
Is he still alive? He'd be like
That was gonna be my
120.
question. I
How
doubt he's
rude.
alive.
I don't think it's that old. Jeez.
It's
How
like-
rude. But that guy's probably still sitting there tweaking it, trying to think, how am I going to get this on Steam?
You joke. I bet there are some people who've reskinned versions of Minesweeper, and it's up there for people that are trying to greenlight it.
Oh, I almost guarantee there is.
And there's probably at least 10 of them with Sura.
And I've seen, Kriparian, he's like big streamer. I've seen him playing Minesweeper no end of times on his stream. He's a big fan.
Wow,
So it could be the next thing. Get that dev on here.
that's like trying to find the dev for Pong.
I think the
Oh,
dev
that-
for Battle Chest would be cooler.
All right, now I'm on Google now. I'm finding the dev. Right.
fuck's
right.
sake. Do you think it actually has a? Do you think there was actually a definitive dev for that?
No, I doubt it. It'll just be the.
It was just a Microsoft intern back in the
Microsoft.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who knows? Wikipedia.
Do I even
where
have
are you?
Minesweeper on here?
Hang on. Why don't?
No, I
Wikipedia-
don't.
All right. Take this word dev out as a search. Just Minesweeper. That'll get me a Wikipedia. Come on.
Yeah, get the Wikipedia page up for it.
Okay. Here we go.
As for what I've been playing this week, not Minesweeper. Not much. I just don't have so much time these days to play as much as I'd like to. Some NeonXSZ last night. Great game. Looking forward to playing some more of it here shortly. Roguelite, which is a play on the whole genre term of roguelite, it's a game that came from the Game Boy Game Jam that recently happened.
Is it a roguelike like though? Or only a roguelike?
It's
Or is
a
it a roguelite?
It's a roguelite action platformer roguelike with strong light mechanics, where you're in a very dark dungeon and you need to light things up to be able to see what you're doing. And it's fantastic. It's from the Game Boy Game Jam, so it has those kind of limitations where it has a 5-color palette and very Game Boy like music that they nailed perfectly. And it's so good. And it's a game I would pay for, and it's absolutely free. I just made a video of it on my channel for the Free Game Friday yesterday. So shameless self promotion. If you want to check it out, go check it out on my channel.
This is not the shilling segment yet, Fedora. Calm yourself.
Well, hey, you want to see the game? Go watch a video of it. It's hard to describe. It's just retro awesomeness, and it's so good. It is so good. I made the video of it and then played it till
What?
like 5 a.m. last night.
What is Hitbox doing now? This is a new bug.
Oh.
I can hear someone else's stream even though I've only got the randomly generated podcast up. He's like going through the options of some game or something. This is really weird.
Don't cross the streams. Don't
I'm not
cross
crossing
the
them. It just kind of.
streams.
I'm listening to someone stream right now.
You're gonna destroy the world. I'm
Don't
gonna
turn it
tell.
off.
I'm gonna have to tell
You don't know
Danson
what'll
about
happen.
that.
Wait, no, that's not. Wait, where's this coming from? What?
What do you...
Maybe it's not real. Maybe it's just in your head. Maybe you're going
Probably.
insane.
Probably.
Where's it coming from? Is this TweetDeck or something?
Just mysterious noise from nowhere.
The,
Just all
I have
tab
closed
to
every single goddamn window. It's
all tab to see if any windows are open and hiding. Sometimes they tend to not show up
Nope.
on the bottom bar for some reason.
I'm gonna
Really?
reset my PC. Someone's gonna need to pick up this call temporarily, and I'm gonna see what's going on here. This is really weird.
Well,
Every window is closed.
Hold on, open your sound mixer and see what has sound bouncing up and down.
While you're doing that, I'll just let you know that the earliest ancestor of Minesweeper was Jeremiah Ratcliffe's cube. There you go. That's who you want.
I will. He'll be next week.
Steam. Oh, it was Steam was closed, but it was still giving me audio.
Yeah, because it's down in your system tray.
But it wasn't like I was hitting the Alt tab. There was nothing there. Okay, well that was interesting. Right, I fixed
Oh
it.
God, can we talk? Can we talk about something since you're talking about Steam? The new Steam logo.
Yes, that was going to be one of my news segments. Was the Steam update and the
Oh,
whole.
okay.
So that's perfect time. Let's go ahead and move on into that. The icon changing confused the shit out of me.
Yeah, throws me every time. Also, it doesn't show you with the little like dots underneath it if you're downloading or updating stuff.
That's definitely. I'm not a big fan of that, but I don't know. I like the
That
new colors.
bugs me.
Yesterday
Like
I
the
was. Yeah, I like the colors, but yesterday I was searching my system tray for the Steam icon. I'm like, where is it? Where'd Steam go?
I think it looks like a bad kind of Photoshop effect. I don't think it looks professional. It looks really cheap.
I noticed, but I didn't notice that much. I just found it had a little blue bit at the bottom of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's
it's
about
also-
what I saw too. It was
it's
just like,
also
oh,
now
Steam
surf-
changed logo. Okay.
It's also now a circle instead of a rounded square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the window itself is a little granulated blue at the top, but for the most part, the Steam
Oh, I
client
think that's
itself.
fine.
Yeah, it hasn't changed much, but the icon confused me greatly.
Yeah. The
I don't
icon
like
is less functional now as well, so
Yeah.
ugh.
And I'm
Yeah, the
scared to
icons was
change.
functional. That's all I noticed. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they changed their logo. I noticed it almost immediately. I don't know how you people don't notice that, but hey.
Well, I
the way
changed
it
it when I
plays-
couldn't find it. I noticed it, yeah.
Well, I
And the
mean,
way-
but it still has the symbol. Like how? Whatever. It's not
And the-
important.
And the way it plays music when it's turned off as well, that can be really annoying.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I literally just dealt with that.
As we've just learned. So this is some tech support for anybody else that faces that issue.
Yeah.
Nuke Steam.
At least we figured out how to fix it without you having to abandon the call and restart and all that nonsense, so.
Yeah.
We still need to
Crisis
have that.
averted.
Hey.
Someone had to say it.
Unfortunately, since he hosts the call, we can't. Because then the call goes away too. I've tried that, and then I was like, oh, right, yeah, he's hosting the call. I can't do that.
Yep.
Yeah, alright, that's about it. Steam changed. I haven't really went through what all has changed. Has anyone, like, combed the update notes or anything?
It's a color scheme. That's it as far as I can tell.
Update notes.
Functionally, it is the exact same. They
There
just
is a lot more changes
Apart from
coming.
the system tray update, system tray is less functional.
Yep. There's
Yep.
it's the start of the whole overhaul they're doing of Steam. I saw a roundup kind of post about all the future changes that will be coming in the near future. I don't remember it for detail very much. Some interesting things, but I can't really recall any of the interesting things. I know I browsed through the list real quick, but none of it really stuck. So some changes to like recommendations and how that stuff works. None of it sounds bad. So Steam's
Well,
changing
no,
change
they're not-
scares me.
They're not going to do anything that's objectively bad because that'll just hurt them. Steam, I think Steam you can sort of trust to not to be idiots about things. I mean, they're not Origin, so
Right. I mean, at least it works.
yeah.
And that's one up on Origin right there. Or any... What other ones are there? Well, no, sort of works
People
fine.
say
but-
it. I've never had a problem with Origin.
I just forget
never.
it exists. It's just so pointless.
Yeah,
that's the problem with it. It's
a
not
platform for
Steam.
EA. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, why do
The
I
prob-
want my games over there when I've got all of my games here? It's just a real pain in the arse to go over and play your game on Origin. Yeah, it works, but it's
Yeah.
just annoying.
I'm actually interested to see what percentage increase in Origin users they got after the Origin Humble Bundle.
Yeah, that was
I
definitely when I actually like started taking it seriously. It was just like, okay, well, hey, there we go. It's a platform for EA games. It serves its purpose, but that's
Yeah.
about it. Steam is still like the ultimate shop.
now I
It,
can't
it
remember.
just it seems a bit petulant, really.
I can't remember if I bought that Humble Bundle and just have not even installed Origin to play any of the games yet, or if I passed on the
most of the
bundle
games
just
still had
because it was
Steam
Origin. Right, okay. But I was like, oh, Origin? I don't even need the
Yeah.
one to buy that. That's
I'm
the
always
biggest
amazed
problem with
when I-
Origin, is it's not Steam.
Yeah, and I got the biggest kick in the teeth because, like, when I installed it for SimCity. So not only did I
Oh.
have to install Origin, I also had to play SimCity on it. Which,
Oh,
admittedly,
oh.
SimCity was great for a while. It was like until you worked out how flawed it was.
All the
It was like it was
seams and
great.
the
It
cracks
was-
start becoming more visible the
Yeah,
longer
the-
you play it.
I had a riot for the first 10 hours. I thought this is brilliant, but I mean, because like I was playing it on that first week as well when it's like stability was really bad. But normally I don't mind that. I expect that on a big game like that that's online only. So I just thought in a week it'll all fade and everything will be fine. So I persevered through it and I was enjoying it. And then I realized that the whole simulation was just broken. Really, it was like your actions really didn't control it in any way. It did its own bizarre, random way of dealing with the entire city.
Yeah, no, there's a person that made a city without roads or power and had 100% happiness.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Amish paradise.
It was literally just all the highest density housing that you could get,
Yep.
and it was all balanced perfectly, and
As
no
a-
power or anything.
it's perfect.
And it was another.
Go ahead.
It was another classic example of trying to make a game that they think the public want when they have no idea what the public want, because all the public wanted was SimCity 4 modernized.
Oh no! I think what it was the game devs behind it wanted a lot more control over the world, and they were trying to dress that up by going, oh no, you want these features that just allow us more control and more and you less autonomy, and trying to sell that off as their excuse.
I wouldn't say the devs. I'm pretty sure it was forced on the devs by EA.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure Maxis
yeah.
That
cried themselves to
That's a
sleep
fair-
every night.
that's a fairer statement.
Because Maxis is a devs that I, had a lot of respect for the classic games, but then they're, bought and owned by EA these days, and I'm pretty sure EA would force that stuff on them. And
How much do you think it's still Maxis though?
true, like maybe one intern.
Joe the intern.
Yeah. The old Maxis is dead, unfortunately. EA killed him. They're
Yeah.
probably buried in concrete in EA's parking lot. That's EA for you. I'm not really one of the raging EA haters. They do a lot of scummy stuff, so I don't play most of their games. But yeah. Next news topic. This is this real quick one. Microsoft. There's a lot of backlash and controversy of Microsoft because at GamesCon, I forgot to turn off or Steam sounds, so.
Really?
And what happened?
Sorry. I'm getting messages. Has anyone seen my pre-show splash still on the stream? Because someone's saying that I had the pre-shows. I don't think
no,
so.
No.
I
mean,
don't know what this.
I just can't watch Hitbox anyway, so, but from what I can see, which is like at least 30 minutes ago, yeah, we have our typical screen up.
See, that's the
Yeah.
pre-show splash. It's not up there. It's the normal screen.
I
Okay.
apparently have a cowlick for my hair.
Well, I figured you didn't want to be the bald one, so I let Paul be the bald guy.
With one ear.
Yes, one ear.
Or is that
Or
my nose?
it might be a tumor growing out of your head.
How did you know? Oh, actually, we've all only got one ear. Is
Yeah.
this a theme?
Yes.
Hey, you can
It's a
kind of
style
see mine.
thing.
It's kind of popping up behind the horn.
Alright, okay, what someone was telling me they were talking about their stream. Exotics is about to do his Outlast stream, so which
Oh, boy.
Exotics is the biggest pansy when it comes to horror games. Probably much worse than Hayes. Like last time he tried to play Outlast, he spent 20 minutes looking at ceiling fan because it is the only thing that didn't scare him.
Oh,
I
we've
still
got-
remember his Knock Knock stream. That was bad.
That game's not
Oh,
even
man.
scary at all.
It's
But
and we got a comment in chat about Sims 4. What do we think about that?
I've never been a big fan of The Sims anyway, so no comment.
yes,
No, but it seems like they're doing it again. It's like they take Sim City and they rip all the heart out of it and all the depth, and they're doing exactly the same thing again with The Sims. It's like they've ripped out half of the game. And
Right.
but here you go. Here's the new version with half of the features.
you can't drown people in pools. That's 0 out of 0. Like,
It's like the entire reason to play Sims, really.
exactly.
There's no pools at all, is there? I think?
Yes, that's
They've removed pools completely,
Yep.
and everything's flat.
Yep.
Wait,
It's a
wow,
completely
that
flat
sounds
game
really-
world. What?
Wow.
This is not an update, is it? This isn't an improvement. Yeah, maybe the characters are improved and you can pull them and make them fat in different ways. But
Can you at least
that's
like,
really...
make your own house? Because if you can't even make your own house, then seriously, what's the bloody point?
Yes, you can make your own
This
house.
is
but
the
they've-
same. This
they've
is the,
reduced-
games from the same publisher as the yearly updates to sports games. So I don't know how much of a fine tooth comb you want to go through and try to find differences.
Fair enough.
The difference
Lot
is
size
thus far
smaller.
been taking stuff out is what the difference has been with the with several of their games.
Yeah, so that's the thing is they can't if they have to take it all out, so you can buy it all again in expansion packs, which seems to be the Sims business model. Give you like 20% of the game and then sell you it another 15 times in expansion packs until it's time for the Sims 5, and then we'll pull it all out again.
Sims 3, that thing has like how much worth of DLC? Like $379 worth of DLC. I think the only game with more DLC than that is Train Simulator.
That makes me
was
want
about
to
to say
vomit.
Train Simulator, if you my god, it's like about 4 pages worth of one line. Like each update DLC takes one line. It's 4 pages deep of DLC.
Yeah, I think it's like $2,000 worth of DLC, something like
Yeah.
that. Hold on.
And the
watch it.
saddest thing is someone's got it all. Some Sado, well, I won't say Sado, he likes his trains, but
Yeah.
someone in the world has it all, and he's got a big grin on his face because he's the one guy with it all.
I was wrong. $4,000 in DLC.
Oh,
Wow.
$3,998.16.
If you
that's
if,
DLC.
if anyone listening to this bought any of that DLC, you're a goddamn idiot.
I
Seriously,
don't think so. I don't
that
think
is
so.
the scummiest thing ever. Oh my god.
What's
No, the
most
scummiest
expensive
scummiest thing ever would be putting that much money into Dungeon Keeper on mobile.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's not even go into that. That just makes me sad.
Yeah. I'm actually a lot happier to sort of see somebody put that much money into a game that they have passion for, because it's a game that is servicing a niche, like truly that is a niche game for people that love trains and train simulators and like model trains and all that. However, and so of course they can kind of pick their price when they're charging for the DLC, but they don't have that much of an audience, so they have to kind of make their money back. Whereas stuff like with Dungeon Keeper or stuff which has been built around the micropayments are just there to fleece people blatantly and horrifically.
And murder my childhood. Like, way to destroy one of the greatest games I played when I was younger.
No, it's okay. It's okay. War for the Underworld will be soon. I've got the beta on my Steam thanks to having backed it on Kickstarter, and it's basically a 1-for-1 remake of Dungeon Keeper 2.
I'm in. I want that.
I'm not sure how they're getting away with it. Just how similar it is to Dungeon Keeper, but it's amazing.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I know I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
I never looked into it very deeply.
It's very much worth looking into. I don't know if you can buy into the beta yet, but I'm in the beta thanks to Kickstarter. But I sort of got into the beta at the same time I got into the Planetary Annihilation Kickstarter and all of that, because they're all games, they're all spiritual successors to games I loved as a child. So
That there needs to be a full AAA game along the Dungeon Keeper lines made, with by today's AAA standards. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do
think
it.
It doesn't even have to be AAA, does it?
No, but
Honestly, don't see the point in that. War for the Overworld is looking spectacular, and of course, one of the best things about modern games is that they're very up with their with having mod support and community support, and that's what really enlivens a game, brings out a game. It's one of the reasons why Total Annihilation was spectacular back in its day, because there was a huge modding community for it. And I still go back and play that every now and then, because there are some mods that I super, super enjoy from it.
I need to go throw money at that game then. I love anything that facilitates user-generated content. That's fantastic. It's a huge thumbs up in my book.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm still holding out hope for Starbound actually coming through.
I do want to play it, but I'm not really on that hype train at all.
Yeah, it's a bit lackluster. I sunk like 20 hours into it in over like 3 days with a couple of friends, and then I haven't gone back to it once.
It's gonna take a while before it's it's playable, but there's not much to it yet. And you can definitely see it has potential, but it's gonna take quite a long time for them to flesh that out completely.
Yeah.
But hey, take all the time you need. If it takes time to make a good game, take time. Don't rush that shit.
Yes, 100%.
Exactly.
It's one of the troubles with the whole early access thing.
It is, but I can understand it in their point. It's such a large, ambitious game. They need some kind of cash flow to survive and continue on. A lot of early access I kind of on, but for them, for the scope of that game, it's understandable to stay not starve to death while they're making it.
Yeah, it's one of the things you have to juggle. It's one of the things you have to kind of juggle the benefits versus the costs.
And what's your overall view on early access?
I'm fine with it.
It's getting a bad rep, isn't it?
Yes,
I'm positive for it.
I'm fine with it. I hate the bad rep. Everyone's reporting on how bad early access is. My bottom line, what I think about is no one has the right to tell somebody how they can spend their money. When people buy an early access game, they know they're buying into a game that's not finished. It may never be finished. That's their own choice.
Yeah.
I think my opinion of early access games is that bad early access games give early access games a bad reputation. If you're selling access to an early access game, it still needs to be a playable game. And if you're not giving a playable experience, you've only got yourself to blame for it being badly received. And if you're not giving something that will create a positive experience, your game will die. Because when it comes out, everybody will remember it from when it first went to early access, because that's effectively the release. And it will just die on its ass. So
yeah, you can dig yourself a very, very big hole with early access.
Yes.
However, you can also create fantastic hype. Everyone wants the Minecraft. Everyone wants the Minecraft effect.
Yeah.
And Daisy and Rust and everything, top of the sales lists, and they're all early access. So it's...
yeah.
The only other thing I have to say about early access is, for consumers, if you're buying into early access, you have to always keep in mind that may never get finished. It's a possibility. If you're all right with accepting that risk, go for it. It's your choice. But that is a risk you have to know exists.
What I say is don't buy a game based on a feature it doesn't have yet. Like with Paranormal Activity, when they canceled online multiplayer, a lot of people got pissed, but it's just like, well, why'd you buy a game for a feature that wasn't there? I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
and I think that very much also goes for developers. Don't sell your product on a feature that will be added later, or that you claim will be added later.
If it's a key feature, make sure it's there.
Yes, if it's a saleable feature, if it's one of the big selling points of your game, make sure it's on the early alpha, on the paid alpha, as it were, or paid beta.
That's just common sense to me. That you want to have all of your features basically
Yeah.
in some form or another in the game for your early access, and just think, okay, I want to add more content, but that doesn't spoil the first 10 hours of the game. If you want to play the first 10 hours, it's ready, or the first 20 hours or whatever. We're going to add more content later, but we're not missing a crucial feature to the game.
Exactly, that's a good point. I would suggest to any devs to have mechanics and systems in there. They might need refined still, might tweak them and improve them, but have them there before you put it on early access.
Reminds me of 7 Days to Die. It was really silly. Like, they put, supposedly they put a huge emphasis on their stealth system when they were marketing the game, and it wasn't even in the bloody game when they released it on early access. It's just like, are you shitting me?
Wow.
I mean, I think it's in the game now, but it was real silly.
Yeah, just wait. Hold on. If you need the money, do a Kickstarter. Don't go early access at that point. Early access, you want your game reasonably feature complete. Maybe not content complete, but at least feature complete. And we're gonna work on this, and we're gonna tweak it, and we're gonna take your feedback, and you're gonna help us make it better. But no, don't release your game that's like based on one feature that we haven't put it in yet. But play the game anyway and tell us what you think. It's like, well, obviously it's going to be bad. We're not going to enjoy it. Why sell it? Kickstart it.
Exactly.
If your core concept isn't there, that's what Kickstarter is for. If your core concept is there, then that's what Steam Access is for, really. I think that's what it mainly comes down to.
Very good point.
But hopefully it doesn't destroy early access with all of these people jumping on the bandwagon. And there's plenty of devs out there that are not interested in actually making a good game. Well, not plenty, but there's enough out there that are just throwing games on there to just make some money. There's whatever crap they can throw at it, and that really is destroying early access. And it's brilliant for indie devs. For somebody in my position where now I've worked for 2.5 years and I've got my game out there, but I need to actually fund it now. And I didn't want to do Kickstarter because if I put my game out on Kickstarter and I couldn't get it to where I wanted to, I would have felt guilty that I've taken all this money off people and actually I'm never going to be able to make the game. So I wanted to get the game done first without the end content. But I mean, I'm doing a 100-hour game, so I can do a 50-hour game and put it on early access and then say, well, I'm going to do the other 50 hours later, sort of thing, that people get their money's worth. But
speaking of which, let's go ahead and play some of that. The other news thing I had was stupid anyway, and we got on some random tangents, which happens a lot on this podcast. We do that all the time.
I think one time we got stuck on the intro segment for about 20 minutes.
Yep.
So that was fun.
It's named the Randomly Generated Podcast for a reason.
I don't think we spent enough time on Minesweeper. I think we missed a trick there.
We need to go back.
We do.
Can you stream that for the next hour?
Yeah, we'll do a special Minesweeper special.
I would probably
Oh
fall
my god!
asleep.
Somebody needs to do Twitch plays Minesweeper.
Oh, God.
Oh my god, yeah. Fish plays Minesweeper.
Oh god.
See if my
that was depressing last week when I was just browsing for. I was trying to find some streamers, like who were playing similar types of game to me, and I saw the number 2 Twitch stream was a fish playing Pokemon. 13,000 people were watching a fish swimming around in a fish tank playing Pokemon.
It's a slightly less well-weighted.
I liked the original Twitch Plays Pokemon. It was kind of a cool little social experiment, but I don't know. Fish, like, you lose the social element because it's a fish.
Just slightly.
Not a mob of people.
I don't know about
13,000 people were watching it.
How does a fish control Pokemon?
They had it set up in like a grid, so whenever the fish would go into a particular section of the grid, it would input that action into the game.
Really? Dear God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a camera pointing at a square fish tank, and there was 9 areas of the tank, and whenever the fish went over the top right, it'd move Pokemon right, and top left would move him left. 13,000 people found this riveting.
That sounds real boring.
Yeah.
What do you do when the fish goes to
Another thing you
sleep?
gotta bear in mind is a fish. He likes to stare at his own reflection for hours at a time.
Yep. And
He was
a
an
lot of
active
people keep
fish,
on
I'll give him
accusing
that.
of being dead.
He moved around. He was trying his hardest to play Pokemon, that fish, I'll give him it, but
He wasn't doing that when I was around.
no, he was just in his castle.
Yeah.
Wow. And so if he stays in one spot, does it just spam that button?
Yep.
I didn't stay there long enough. I lasted about 15 seconds just to
Yeah.
see what the hell was going on. And
I think he spent like 30 or 45 minutes just walking up into a bookcase.
Oh dear God.
All right, let's play some Neon. You firing it up, Gingerdragon?
It's already up. I'm cruising around in my Violator frigate, and it's pretty great.
I have the little noob ship. Paul, give the viewers your elevator pitch of what is NeonXSZ.
okay, the elevator pitch, as they try to say, you've got to get it into a single sentence, is a remarkably agile first-person shooter where every opponent has unique AI.
It is...
Did I stumble over AI there?
No.
Every opponent has totally unique artificial intelligence. They all react in a different way. They've got different personalities. Some will, like as you can see in here, they were just all in friendly area at the moment. They don't do anything. They're happy. They're just floating around. But if you start messing with them, they'll all react with you in different ways.
We have
So will all the enemies.
we have a big fight going on over here.
Yeah.
Can I just point out how much I love the phrase "remarkably agile" as a descriptor for sort of a game type? I think that's a really engaging phrase.
We can thank alphabetagamer.com for that. That was in their review. That's what was the first line of their review. A remarkably agile first-person shooter, and it just resounded with me, and I went, yes, I'm stealing that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, the malware AI all hates me, because that's where all my farming runs end up. So they all react differently. I just stroll into one of their towns and they all try and shoot me.
I've noticed when you kill enemies, the loot drops, the uranium doesn't seem to magnet to you like the other things do. It kind of bothers me, actually. I have to go and hunt it down.
Yeah, it's a design decision. Originally, the game didn't have any of the loot pulling towards you in the prototype, and everyone complained. And so I set the code to pull it all towards you, but the uranium was actually a slightly different type of loot, so I hadn't added it to it. And immediately I thought, well, I always enjoyed the skill of having to pick up the loot, but having to pick up 12 different pieces was obviously too much. So I left the uranium just static because it's the game's currency and it's the fuel for your entire ship, so it's the most important piece of loot, really.
It is.
And it just adds that
Also,
tiny...
it loses over time, right? Which would also make sense why I wouldn't move towards the end.
Yeah, all of the loot degenerates over time, so if you pick it up quickly, you get more than if you wait, and it will eventually just disappear.
I did not know that.
I
there's a
didn't
lot.
know that either.
There's a lot of hidden mechanics in the game like that I don't tell you that you pick up over time.
This guy might be a little too strong for me, but I'm going to go after him anyway.
Double up arrow is plausible.
Rip in peace.
What ship are you flying? That's three missiles. Are you in the little...
I'm in, I'm not particularly good, so double up arrow is not very plausible for me.
Are you in a frigate?
The second here, I'll go to the screen here. Whatever this thing
It
is.
wasn't very plausible.
Go bomb to this ship. Oh, it's the missile. Oh, right, so just spam your missiles. This ship is designed to have most of its power from missiles.
I do
very
spam the
disappointed.
missiles.
You went with the scrub tier ship, Fedora.
It's what said it was best for beginners, so I went with it. I was like, okay, the game tells me to use it, I'll use it.
And
Yeah,
it says,
but
spam your, it says spam your missiles. I mean, it's got one turret, so it can't do a lot of damage through its turrets, like the other ships can have 2, 3, or 4 turrets in them. But it does have a big supply of missiles that it can spam, and they regenerate much more quickly. So that's where the most of its damage will come from its missiles.
Also, have I unlocked a new weapon yet? No, not quite. I'm getting close to unlocking lightning. How you get new weapons, primary weapons, is actually really interesting. You want to go ahead and explain that?
Okay, the way you get everything is, every ship in the game is built exactly the same way your ship is. If you use your mouse wheel here, you can actually zoom in.
Yeah,
and you'll see how every ship has a bunch of upgrades. And this includes all the enemy ships. They also have a bunch of upgrades inside their ship, which defines their power and their skills and what gadgets they might be using. And when you kill a ship, they will drop a piece of every single upgrade they have installed, a piece of the missile they have installed, a piece of the weapon they have installed, and a piece of the hull they have installed. So because we're in cyberspace, I class that as code. You're picking up 25% of the code for the energy storage unit or something. And so as you kill more ships that use that particular upgrade, you'll eventually get to 100%, and then you can install it into your own ship. And as you install those core upgrades, that increases your tech level, and that increases your damage at the same time. Your damage is directly proportional to your tech level. So unlike a lot of games where loot is completely random and you'll kill this great big ogre and he'll drop a staff, or he'll drop some food or something that, like a cape that he was never wearing in Neon, you loot what you kill. You can actually see what the enemy is carrying, what equipment they have before you kill them, and you will definitely get that dropped. And it makes for a nice mechanic. Yeah, it makes for a nice mechanic, because like in most games you'll have this arbitrary experience bar that just goes up as you play the game. Whereas in Neon, you can think, well, I want to take on ships that are a little bit more powerful than me because they're going to have more powerful upgrades than I have, and it guarantees me that I will be able to get these upgrades that I want. I just need to find a ship that's using it, or if you see a ship that's using the lightning gun, you know he's going to drop part of the lightning gun when you kill him.
Or just kill everything you see and get it all. Which probably doesn't turn out well in the end. Actually, this is the first time I've docked in an armory. What does this mean complete for, uranium?
You can buy it. Yeah, down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can see how much uranium you've got.
Yeah.
So you've got 11.25, and you can actually buy the lightning gun now. It says complete. You've already found 69% of it. So you're only buying the last 31%.
I was wondering which one it was going to complete, but it's for the lightning gun, and the shop doesn't. This armory doesn't have these available, apparently, right?
Yes, it's just the only thing it sells and buys is the lightning gun. So I would suggest you buy it.
Lightning gun's pretty great.
You can afford it, and it's one of the most devastating weapons in the game. The lightning gun, just to give you a shortcut to actually using it, it's got a much shorter range than the guns you're used to using. The main guns have got a 300-meter range. The lightning gun's only got an 80-meter range, but it's devastating.
Yeah, I know. I've
So you
been
don't have to
wrecked
lead
by
the
it
shot.
many times.
You don't lead the shot.
Okay, I'll use rockets for... Go ahead.
The weapons are actually ripped straight from Quake. In my opinion, Quake had the best selection of weapons, the most balanced and fun weapon types of any first-person shooter. And so, although I say they're ripped from Quake, they don't look like Quake's weapons. Probably the lightning gun's about the closest to an actual Quake weapon. But all the balancing of the weapons in Quake, it's basically stolen because, in my opinion, it was the best. And why reinvent the wheel?
They got it right.
They got it right. It's like you don't have weapons that are useless. Every weapon is useful in a specific situation. So all of the weapons become useful all of the time. So you might come in from a range and use your main guns, which use low energy. And as you get in closer, you've spammed a couple of missiles and you switch to your lightning gun, which uses lots of energy but does lots of damage quickly. And then if you got in super close, later on in the game, you'll get the flak cannon, which works like the double barrel shotgun in Quake. So right up close, you'll just rip something to shreds if you're right in front of them. And it's just a beautiful weapon arsenal.
How do I switch to the lightning gun?
You can take inspiration from anywhere, really.
Yeah.
Okay, you can choose your lightning gun by clicking on it on the cockpit. If you hold right mouse button down, you can actually use the buttons on the cockpit. It's fully interactive, and while you're pointing at that lightning gun button on the cockpit, it'll actually tell you the hotkey. So it's hotkey 3.
Okay.
So you can use hotkey 3, or you can actually click that button to swap to it.
I really like the cockpit UI. It's so good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
It's looking a lot nicer as well than when I played it. It was laid out similarly, but yeah, it actually looks a lot more, functional, a lot more physical.
Yeah, the map's new. I don't think when you last played it, Hayes, the map was on the end there. You can rotate that map and zoom in on it as well. It's interactive as well.
Anyway, you have the game dev walking you through the game now, so I think I'm going to leave you guys to it.
All right.
Thank you for joining us, Hayes. Don't forget, throw your link in the chat. Everybody should go check her out. Go sub to her. Go check out our videos. I plan to... Oh, God, he's actually attacking me. Most of the time, they don't bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as my personal little plug, we've got a couple of series going at the moment. We've got some stuff in the works, and hopefully September will be a big month for the channel. We'll have an awful lot of content coming out then. So,
Look forward to it.
feel free to come and join us. Anyway, thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And
Nice chatting with you again, Hayes.
Yeah.
I got wrecked.
Bye.
See ya.
Let's talk a little bit about overclocking. I was messing around with that a little bit last night. Is there a way to overclock your weapons besides the missile?
There's upgrades that will boost your weapons. But the overclocking, no. You can't
think
because
so.
you don't have a slot for your weapons.
Yeah,
You
that
can
was
overclock
confusing me
everything
last
else,
night.
but not the weapons.
Except for missiles,
But there
which are a good idea to overclock.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like putting the weapons as an upgrade would be you couldn't hot switch then. You know, like I wanted you to be able to just in the middle of a fight swap all through your weapons because they all have different abilities at different points in a battle. So having to stop and swap your upgrade for your weapon just made no sense. So it was never an upgrade. But yes, you'll get things like there's elemental boosters, so you can boost elemental damage and lightning damage or plasma damage, that kind of thing.
I have one for lightning actually that I picked up last night. So
yeah, and there's also a lightning gun booster, just that will purely boost only the lightning gun.
yeah, I think I have that here.
So there's plenty of ways to build that glass cannon build where you just push your damage, but obviously this isn't the ideal ship for that because you've only got one weapon turret. You would be wanting to use something with 2 or 3 weapon turrets if you were going for like trying to boost your damage. You'd probably be better off using different upgrades in this ship and boosting missiles because that's its core damage output.
Yeah, increased lightning gun damage by 1.5. I got that last night. Right now, I just have my slots filled with the very few things I have. I have a couple of slots that have nothing yet because I just haven't gotten enough things yet.
You can duplicate the same upgrade twice.
Oh, you can?
Do what?
You can. You can put 6 lightning boosters in if you want.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Oh.
Well,
nice.
I may as well do that since I don't have any things to boost rockets right now. So I have to do that at a shop though.
Like you could put 6 energy boosters in there or 6 shield boosters in there, but it does have diminishing returns. First one's 100%, second one will be 50% of the top power, third one will be 25%, sort of thing.
Well, if you have nothing else to throw in the slot, you may as well.
Kind of. The thing is that every upgrade, as you'll probably notice as you start to play it more, has an energy requirement.
Oh,
that
and a
slowly burns
weight
through energy.
yeah.
And a mass, and mass is directly proportional to your speed. So if something weighs 4 mass, your speed will go down by 4. So yes, you've got to weigh that up. There's some balancing in there. You wouldn't. There are some nice light upgrades that use very little energy. So yeah, you might as well just pop them all in there and just boost the power of your ship. But you need to be careful. Some things are heavy for a reason to balance them.
I'm not finding many enemies here. Now I haven't really done much playing around with like the factions. You know, none of that's come into play very much for me yet. But there are 4 different factions, correct?
Yes, and if you look on the map on the left-hand side of your cockpit, you'll see on the map you've got 3 green numbers, and green represents the operating system, which is friendly to you. So that's why you're not finding many enemies. But as you approach this junction, you'll spot that the numbers also represent the tech level of the enemies in that area. So I can already see that this area is hostile. And as you approach it, the number for the area will pop up there telling you, and it'll be red, as you see. It's just popped up, telling you the tech level of the area, and the red number says this is a virus area. And is that an 8?
Yes.
And you're tech level 2, so you'll die in there.
Yeah.
I did not know
Now,
that's
there's
what the numbers made.
Another thing, because it's all a sense of discovery, I don't really want to tell the player this. I like to allow them to find it. On the very far right-hand side of the cockpit, you'll see the TL HUD controls with the number 3 on it.
Oh,
and all
that's
that
so
does,
helpful.
all it does is will point you towards an area with level 3 enemies, because that's the number on it. But there's buttons above and below it. You can change that number to a 4 or a 5. And then I can see over in the distance, you can see to your... So actually I got a bit of delay. The TL HUD marker is actually on the screen as a HUD marker. And you'll see over in the distance on the opposite side of the space station now, you're looking at it with the distance to that area that's got tech level 3 enemies in it.
That's
Does this make sense?
Yes, that's far away from me. I don't know how I got
exactly
so far.
on the opposite side of the space station, so you'd have to zoom around there. But that's kind of where you want to be. As a level 2, maybe you could change that number, use the buttons to change it to a level 4 and point you to a level 4 area. But that's all that does. It's just a user controllable system to point you to the enemies you want.
These guys are real strong, but you do find weaker ones just traveling between sometimes. I just found like one that was like a 150 shield, you know, and smoked him in a couple missiles. So
Yeah,
you do find
and
weaker ones spread around too.
And the enemies are free to move everywhere. You know, like in games normally like this, enemies they'll just spawn when you enter the room. Where in NeonXSZ, there's about 1,000 of them in here, and they're all persistent, and they're all moving around the world constantly. So yeah, as the longer you're playing it, the more likely you are to find things all fighting in different places, and it's all procedurally generated. So no two games are the same. You'll never find the layout of the space station the same from one game.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that at all, because the space station seems like a pretty like intentional design. It's like a big center and like 6 arms out around it. So I didn't realize.
That's always the same. That's always the actual overall layout of the whole thing. The shape of it is always the same, but where the factions spawn mixes from one game to the next. The tech level of the factions in that area changes, and the rooms, whenever you go through these tunnels into a room, the rooms inside there can also change to different factions and different designs as well.
Now, are all those rooms always like bases? They seem like that to me.
Yes, they are out in this outside world. They're all like different faction bases.
Smoked you. One thing I would like on the uranium is maybe if your grab bubble was a little bit bigger. It seems like I have to like touch it with my nose to grab it. Maybe just, I don't know. That's probably just me being whiny, but sometimes it takes me considerable effort to grab the damn thing.
This is something that surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me, because the control of the ship is actually ridiculously easy. If I tell you that if you want to pick something up, point your cursor at it and thrust forward, and you will always drive through it. As long as your target reticle is pointing at the thing and you're thrusting forward, you will always fly straight through it. People try to use strafe up and down, and they're going, "Oh God, this is so complicated to fly." I'm actually going to make a little video, like a getting started stupid video sort of thing, just to tell them that, because it feels like I have to use all of these buttons to fly it, and you don't. The only button you need is forward thrust and the mouse. Like, what if you're trying to fly through the uranium, just point at it with your mouse and fly forward, and you will always fly through it. It's very easy, and it's like you'll soon learn that as soon as you kill a ship, just look for the yellow one and fly straight at that, and let all the others just catch up and fly into you on their own. You know, get sucked into you.
Problem is, I seem to most of the time always have sideways momentum when I'm trying to do that.
But the forward thrust is strong enough to pull you straight. It's very, very powerful. So
I think my problem is I'm trying to correct the sideways momentum I have when I'm trying to grab it, when the forward thrusters will correct it on their own.
Yeah, they're just so powerful, the forward thrusters. They will just pull you straight.
Slow down, Dick.
Now that little guy is fast. He's a data transporter. He's got no weapons. He's
so there's nothing to stop you from killing him.
No, and it doesn't stop you from grabbing his loot and his uranium either. It's basically there for the newer players who are level 1, so they've got some easy targets to pick on.
Okay, quit moving. Grab me the... wasting time, getting less uranium. There we go. By the way, I'm really glad there's the C button in this to self-correct. Wow, it gets disorienting.
Do you use...
I always make it a rule to myself in the challenge spheres, never use C in the challenge spheres, because it always keeps things more interesting.
I've actually built some of the challenge spheres where the C button will twist you all over the place. Even deliberately. As you move, it'll change what's up and what's down deliberately, but that's on some of the later challenge arenas once you've come out of this first space station. Do you use the control key?
Air brake?
Yeah.
I actually changed that to the left alt, because left control is always such an awkward key for me, in my opinion. But yeah, I switched it to left alt and used it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's very good for picking up loot. You know, just grind to a halt and just let it all suck into you.
I will admit, that's one thing I found kind of weird, was the fact that the loot would actually push you.
Okay, you data transfer bastard, just hold still for a second.
The loot's actually physics-based, so not only will it pull towards you and push you around, but it can go into orbit around your ship if you get it just right, and it'll start spinning around your ship, and then you've got this shield spinning around your ship, because the loot is also solid. Bullets will not go through it, so you can actually create a loot shield around your ship, and then as your shields go down and everything, and you need more energy, just pick up a little bit of the loot, because I don't know if you've noticed, when you pick up loot, it replenishes your shields and energy as well.
Yes, I have noticed that.
So Yeah, leaving loot lying around during big hectic fights is very useful to keep yourself topped up constantly. And it's even more useful if it's in orbit around you and giving you this shield at the same time.
Nope, I'm not gonna fight that guy. He has like 1,000 shield.
Ah, it's not that much.
I'm just preying on anything that has like 200 or less shields at this point. While I go towards the markers over here. I'm about
You're getting
halfway.
close.
Yeah, about halfway there.
The thing is, you've done a complete 360 all the way around the space station.
Yep.
This marker was right next to where you started, and you've kind of flown all the way back round to it and look around.
It's exploring is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to map out the station yourself.
I love the right-click method of stuff targeting and whatnot. That works so well.
I rebound that to space because my mouse button sucks and I can't hold right without it just spazzing the F out.
Oh, well, I can't do that in
Yeah.
space because that's my rockets, man.
Well, I right-click for rocket then. It's actually I actually like this a bit more than the traditional.
Actually, that would work. I'm fine with shooting rockets accidentally.
Felt so bad. This one piece of malware just tech level 5 just drove into the antivirus sector and everyone ganged up on him, including myself.
So now Gingerdragon was telling me that last week he saw a situation where, like, you know, the different factions fight each other, but where antivirus was fighting OS. I'm like, what? Is it Norton?
That's all to do with the unique AI in all of the ships, and you'll have ships that are a little bit mental.
That's Norton.
And so yes, it can happen. You can get like one antivirus ship that's got a slight pirate mentality from like all the malware ships of pirate-like. They'll fight each other a lot more than any of the other factions will fight and part of their own faction. And occasionally that will drop into like the antivirus and even the OS systems, like they've been corrupted slightly. But if you can take advantage of another mechanic in the game, if a ship shoots another ship, it will become hostile to the ship that shot it. So you'll often find when you're in the middle of a very hectic battle, everybody starts fighting everybody because they're all mistakenly shooting each other, and they're getting angry with each other. But it's not cut and dry. It's like if you could test it. You could shoot a green ship, and he'll turn hostile. He'll turn red. But if you don't shoot him, he'll go, okay, the guy didn't mean it. I'll stop.
Yeah, they
he
lose
didn't
interest
mean to shoot
quickly.
me.
I've noticed. Thank
Yeah,
God.
So the enemies do that. It's like they'll only start fighting each other if they keep shooting each other and really annoying a member of their own faction. It's like they just think, this guy is really trying to kill me, so I'm going to have to defend myself, and they start fighting back. So yeah, you'll find faction fighting their own faction sometime because of that happening.
Okay, now that I'm in the right level area, this is actually working out well. Okay, there you go. Uranium, come to me.
Just point at it and push forward. That's it. Forget about everything else. Just keep that target reticle
Now
on it.
the targeting thing seems like it's going down, so does it actually want me to go down in their base is what it's saying? Is that what it's pointing to?
Yeah,
it's
it's pointing you to the base that has the same tech level that you're searching for.
Yeah. You'll find nothing there other than tech level enemies around level 3, which is perfect for your level.
I'm just
Obviously.
being kept busy killing the ones that are coming out the door. Like, right, lasering them right in the face.
Yeah, good tactic. It's safe.
You don't have a lot of HP. Oh, this is gonna be scary. Kill it now! Oh, okay.
I hit walls a lot. Thank God it's not exactly punishing for doing so.
No, just fly around like a madman. The game was designed to not punish you for banging into walls. I want you to go
Something's
crazy
shooting
and
me.
have fun.
You little dickbag.
Alright. Let's see if I can take on this last challenge sphere here.
Correct, please. There we go. This is working out very profitably.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Now that you're in the right area, you can just get a stream of enemies to kill that are all perfectly leveled for you, and you can
Wait, what is that?
very quickly level up.
And actually get some uranium, because my God, some stuff is expensive. Like 900 some euro. Oh God. But then again, it's all based on percentage. If you get some of the data for that and start, getting some of that item, price scales down, correct?
Yes, and it's also prices are based on the tech level of the equipment. So what might seem like very expensive to you now at being 900 uranium, it's not like you're going to have to build it up at the rate you're claiming it now.
Yeah, I know. But still, it seems like a lot of ramping up would have to happen for that to be attainable.
You'll be surprised. By the end of the game, upgrades will cost 9 million.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of ramp up.
By the end of the game, the consumption of uranium will actually be a factor.
Yeah, but later in the game, you'll be picking up uranium in the you'll be picking up 1 million uranium in one drop. So the 900 sounds like an awful lot to you now, but when you're level 10, it won't seem like an awful lot to you.
I'm getting some good upgrades now.
So I think I found that arena you were talking about earlier, the one where there's just pistons everywhere that just keep pushing out anytime a wave spawns.
It's a trick. What tech level are you?
I'm tech level 9. It's the tech level 12 sphere.
It's perfectly doable. It'll be challenging, but I based the balancing of the arenas that arena is possible at level 8 on hardcore.
Alex.
If you got difficulty at hardcore, I managed to pull it off once while testing, so it is actually possible at level 8 on hardcore. So you should be able to do it at level 9. You might die a couple of times, but you're killing these level 10 and 12 enemies, so you're getting level 10 and 12 loot off them, so it's perfectly worth doing.
Unfortunately, the reward for this sphere is a diligent, which I already have the full schematic for.
Did you buy it?
Waste. I just farmed it. Like, I spent a lot of time just kind of farming because I really wasn't sure. Like how I
think you got very lucky to get that diligent. The loot.
Well, I did. Like I farmed about I think 60% of it, and then I just up and bought it.
Oh right, okay, yeah, because it's like there was obviously if you'd been in this arena, you'd think, it's probably not worth me buying that. I can just loot it.
Yeah.
It's just I wanted to guarantee the player had a diligent by the end of the first one. But you're just about to, if you're just about to finish that 4th arena, you're just about to enter the 2nd space station as well.
Yep. And I got a sweet Violator frigate to kick everyone's butt with. Again, farmed it up, but then bought it for about 50 uranium and an antivirus.
So is there any way to like destroy or take over faction bases?
You can take over you can destroy and take over the arenas, but you can't destroy and take over stuff in the outside open world area. Only when you get into the center of the sphere and you're doing the arenas, they can be taken over and converted to friendly factions. In my head, this outside area is like the high-level software area, and the sphere is like the core, kernel of the system. So everything inside the sphere is much lower tech level, much lower level as in the graphics are not as detailed, everything's much simpler, more raw, if you know what I mean, like the kernel level. And so you can take over that kind of area, but this stuff is too advanced.
God.
But that's
so what is the end goal of the game? Is there an end goal of the game?
At the moment, no. The design of the game was just the core of it is just spaceship dogfighting. Everything else, in my eyes, is just icing on the cake. It's like if you don't enjoy the process of dog shit fighting.
Dog shit. Oh, come on now, don't need to be so harsh on your game there.
If you don't, it's like I wanted to make a spaceship game that felt like Quake. You know, like I was playing Quake. I wanted it to have the responsiveness and the speed of turning like an old Twitch shooter. And in Quake, it's like you've got nothing. You don't level up at all. So the leveling up part of it was purely just icing on the cake. It's just like if you enjoy playing this game and you enjoy shooting things, I'm going to keep allowing you to unlock new toys to play around with. So the goal of the game isn't even technically to level up. The goal of the game is just to enjoy playing it, enjoy shooting and getting better at it, because obviously the more you play it, the more skilled you get at it and the more reward.
Oh, I can't kill them when they're docked.
Oh man, that was
But I suppose ultimately, when I actually do flesh out the final section of the game, it will be to convert the entire thing to a friendly faction and either eradicate the virus or totally take over the system by becoming the virus, because you aren't forced to be friendly with OS. You can kill them and turn them hostile, and be friendly with virus and turn them green.
That is an interesting endgame. I like that. Because it makes sense. So you can either be on either side of the two main factions.
Well, you can be hostile to everybody.
Yeah.
It's totally up to you, and that's kind of the whole thing about the game, is it's meant to be a very personal experience where you do whatever you want to do. It's your story, and I'm never going to tell you any story that will spoil whatever you've got in your head that's going on. You know, I find that as soon as you say this is happening or you introduce a character, it can break whatever illusion you have for the game, and I wanted to desperately wanted to avoid doing that. So you don't find any actual story. You'll find systems going on and things happening and the AI of the enemies, and you generate your own imagination of what's actually happening here, you know. And like I have my own ideas about it. I don't want to discuss them because that will spoil whatever idea you might have for what's going on in here. But ultimately, it's just about spaceship dogfighting. And if you don't like that, you'll end up bored with the game. Because that's the heart of it. That's the heart and soul of it. I'll keep giving you lots of new toys to play around with, but at the end of the day, it's still to just enjoy different ways of spaceships fighting spaceships. In the same way that players are still playing Quake after 8-10 years or 14
Ooh, I have another
years.
ship available, another hull available.
What is it?
It is the Viper.
Ah, that's what I started with. I really like the Viper.
I'll tell you about the Viper. It's got 2 turrets, so twice as many guns as your ship, but its missile capabilities are not quite as good. It carries less missiles and it generates the missiles more slowly. It's a little bit smaller, so it will get hit just a little bit less, if I remember rightly as well. It's quite a small little ship, and it's got quite decent base overclocking in it.
Getting close to
But the
getting the
double
dart,
turrets-
too.
The dart's quite advanced. It's a single turret, hyperactive bumblebee, basically. It's extremely fast and twitchy, but the advanced players like it because it's so fast nothing can hit it. But you have to fly around like an absolute madman in it to take advantage of it.
How many
But you'll
holes
like
are
the Viper.
there?
33.
Ooh.
See, if you look at the top left of that window you're looking in, there's a thing that says Show Undiscovered Hulls. Click on that. Back in the hull box.
There's a few.
And then you can scroll down, and the same thing will happen on the upgrade screen.
Now, if I
you
wanted to
switch to the
continue...
upgrade screen now, you'll...
Yeah, I saw that earlier when I was playing last night, actually. But if I wanted to continue along the rocket path of relying on rockets, what would be the next hole for me to grab?
If you enjoy your missiles, it would be the next missile class ship, which would probably be quite a distance away.
I'm going to try out the Viper. May as well.
You should. You should try out all the ships because they're all balanced. Even like the ship you'll unlock after 80 hours of play could be just as equally viable as the ship you're flying right now.
Except for I'm not docked in the right place to change here.
I've been really trying to get my hands on the Bulwark because I'm a big fan of just tanking the damage and dishing it out, being a bruiser. And that's what that ship seemed to be about.
The Bulwark is yeah, it's a heavy fighter. I really like it. I think it's it's fairly close to a Corvette in some ways because it's a kind of jack of all trades ship, but I do like it. I find it's a nice ship. You're really looking for a destroyer if you want something that's just an enormous tank with...
I did want the destroyer, but I've
corner.
only encountered like tech level 14 destroyers, so I haven't been able to get one yet.
Wow. This thing's cool. Reduce incoming damage by 54% when hit. Okay.
Now, that's the gyro shield. It's actually a physics-based shield that spins around your ship. So it's only when it actually hits that shield that you reduce your damage by 54%. But I suggest go to a garage, install it, and play around with it just to understand what it is and whether you want to use it.
I also got
But it's
missile
first-
upgrade.
You need to install that too, obviously, if you're flying your missiles-based ship.
Yep.
Well, you're a bit of an ungrateful jerk, aren't you? I just saved your life and now you tried to kill me! Now you're dead.
Now you're another
he from?
loot pinata.
Got another dart to sell. I tried using the dart. It didn't work very well for me.
But Fedora, have you been in the customize menu yet?
The one in the options menu
Yeah.
where you change
Where you
like
can
the
change-
like color scheme, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I like the one that was preset too, though. After I tried the other ones a little bit. But I'll show that off here in a second. Let me equip my new shiny toys. The guy.
Now, do you want to swap to your other ship before you do your upgrades, or are you going to stick with this ship?
I'll just stick with this ship for now, since I have a missile storage booster. I may as well. What else do I have? Reduces incoming missile damage. That one sounds useful.
I did really like the ability to customize the colors on your ship. That was cool.
And what other upgrades did I get? Oh, I got a new engine with that one on. I'll sell this one.
Cause yeah, this is the ship I'm currently rolling with, Fedora. How it looks.
I'm in full
nice.
screen, so I'm not seeing it.
Ah.
Yeah, nice frigate. Frigates, have you got drones yet?
Yes, I do have a drone.
Yeah, frigates are nice with drones.
Mm-hmm.
And remember what I said earlier, where you can install more than one, so you can install more than one drone, and you can't have diminishing returns on drones because it either launches a drone or it doesn't. Yeah.
Ooh. All right, let me go do that then.
The
like I was
balancing-
thought about, but then I remember hearing about the diminishing returns. It was just like, eh. But
Yeah, well,
now
you
say
can't
that.
really release half a drone, so there's no diminishing returns on it. But they are balanced by weight. Drones are heavy upgrades, so if you installed like 6 of them, you'd be a snail.
All right. Well, thankfully I've got 1400 shields, so being a snail's fine by me.
I got new upgrades for like everything. It's wonderful. It's amazing what happens when you follow the waypoints.
I'll
Yes.
get rid of the plasma overcharger.
Better
And
recharge.
you can buy some of those as well, because you've got like 70% of them. It's actually worth thinking about buying some of these that you've got 75% of and 68% of and things.
Mhm.
They'll be quite cheap, but do be careful with your money. You don't want to be go below about 5 milligrams just in case you keep dying.
So why can I not sell some of these things? Some can sell, some can't.
Yeah, it depends on the shop. What the shops buy and sell is procedurally generated too. Then they won't buy and sell everything. So if you can't find it in one shop, you'll have to fly to another one and see if they buy and sell it. So
Actually, I should have bought this one. I shouldn't have bought this one because this one's at 80-some% and it's way better. Oh.
Yeah, I remember one thing I thought about doing that would have just been like a silly little ship was getting one of the data transporters, the DPI Plus, and just throwing a bunch of drones on it, just deploying the drones and running like hell. I feel like that would have been kind of silly.
I don't think it'll allow you to.
Oh, you won't? Because I know, I remember once I got it, it was just like, it only had 4 miscellaneous slots. It was just like, oh, that won't work.
Yeah, and the different hulls have different compatibility with the gadgets. Like the gyro shield and drones are both gadgets, and certain ships will not allow you to install certain gadgets. I don't think you can install, I'm almost certain you can't install drones in it. But you might be able to. You might be able to, but I doubt it.
Is there any like actual reason for a player to use the data transporters, or are they literally just food for the player?
Yes, there is one reason why you'd want to jump into a data transporter, and that's set it up for maximum speed and shopping sprees. When you're looking for a specific upgrade, you can fly around the space station so fast because they're the fastest ships in the game, the data transporters. So if you're just looking and you're going shopping, you can jump into a data transporter and just do the shopping much, much quicker.
I think you mentioned it like that. Jeez, I need to do that because again, I've been looking for that bulwark.
and they also have very, very high energy regeneration, so you can spam your overdrive all the time to get really fast speed in them without burning through all your energy too quickly.
Nice.
Inferno gun booster. Well, I don't have an Inferno gun yet, so. Where am I? I'm at 46% of the Inferno gun. And I got a little chunk of plasma gun. Alright, tons of upgrades. What is my rank at now here? My tech level? Almost 5.
Okay, so that's brilliant, isn't it? You've just jumped from 2 to 5 nearly.
Yeah,
so
just by farming
the
these guys a little bit.
Yeah, and on the right-hand side of your cockpit, that TL HUD marker that's pointing at this thing in this room, you can change the number on it now, pop it up to something like 5 or 6, and it'll point you to an area with enemies at level 5 or 6, which is ideal for what you want now, because you'll find killing enemies at level 5 easy as a level 5 ship yourself. So you really want to be hunting things with tech level 6 loot inside them.
And then just whatever I can kill on the way.
Exactly, yeah, because it's all loot you can sell, even if you're never going to install it yourself, and they're going to drop uranium, which it's obviously currency all on its own.
Alright, let's see what the space station number 2 is all about.
How do I get to the first battle sphere? I want to go hit that up before we wrap it up.
Dead center of the world. It's going a straight line the way you point it.
Yep.
You're actually
Alright.
pointing towards the center of the world right now.
Big sphere in the middle.
How did I never ended up going that direction, just looping around the outside all the time while I was wandering around is beyond me.
Yeah, you get. There's 3 entrances into it, and you're heading straight into the sphere now.
How do you see the tech level when you target an enemy? I mean, I'm seeing their
It's
shields.
just underneath them, on the hood.
Oh,
it says
I see.
9.83.
I see.
And
It's a little high.
on the cockpit, on the right-hand side panel is all data about that ship. You can see what faction he belongs to, what guns he's got, what missiles he's got, what energy he's got, and shields and everything.
I was just judging what I could take on by what their shield amount was.
Whenever you point at something, you'll see in the top right-hand corner, like that guy's got a skull, so you can tell he'll kill you.
Yeah.
A double up arrow is plausible, it's possible, but you need to be skilled and have a nicely balanced ship to do it. One up arrow you generally can kill, and down arrows are easy. So that's the instant way of seeing it. You don't even need to look at a number, you can just use the little icon. And the same on the scanner, the scanner will show you up arrows and skulls and things, so you can tell what level the enemy is just from the scanner.
Wow, this is interesting. This middle area.
So that thing in the middle is the station teleporter, which will allow you to teleport to another space station. But it's not unlocked until you've either reached level 10 or completed all the arenas.
Okay, so how do I do an arena then?
The things around the outside,
Ah.
with the numbers over them, they're the arenas.
No, number 1 I take it then.
You want number 1, yeah? And you'll be able to do this easily.
Yeah.
Because number
at this
1 is
range.
actually plausible to do at level 1, and you're level 5 now, so you'll probably be higher level than most of the ships in here.
Hey, it works for me.
Yep.
Mop them up real quick.
And you'll be able to do the second arena too. And actually at level 5 you can probably do the third arena, but it's very difficult at level 5.
Ooh,
missiles.
that was actually close.
So yeah, you spam your missiles out because they're your main source of damage, and you've got lots of them.
Where is
And that's the
where is
God.
the other guy?
Oh,
There
I
he
killed
is.
Now if you can't see the guy, you can actually click on him on the radar too to select him. You don't need to point and click on him on the actual screen, if you can actually point at the little icon
Where-
on the radar itself.
I lost the uranium. I couldn't find it. Okay, and is that it? Just 2 guys?
No, there's a door in here. There you go, you're kind of looking at it, you just missed it. Opposite side to that.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to figure out which way I came in as well. I was trying to figure out. There we go.
Yeah, you came in through a little tunnel and there's a door. I don't know how much the delay is on the stream, but
It's not too much.
the door actually starts an ambush. It spawned 2 more enemies behind you.
Oh, I did not notice that. I was like, why aren't you opening? Oh, I'm getting shot.
This fucking guy, he's got so much defense.
If you found a ship that's really powerful like that, pause the game and it'll tell, while you've got him selected, it'll tell you all
Got
the upgrades he's got installed, and you can steal his build. You can
Well, no,
fix
all
it.
I saw was tech level 14, and it was data transport, so I just wanted it dead. And he's dead now.
Well, at least he can't shoot back.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
just squirrely little bastards is what they are.
The guy, I swear to God, I think he thought he could telefrag me because he kept trying to blink into me as I'd be shooting him.
I was trying to figure out what this shield thing was, but that's that gyro shield.
Yes, and it will always, it's physics based, so if you're going backwards it'll move in front of you, and if you're going forwards it'll move behind you, and if you're going to the left it'll move to your right, so you can, and because it reduces your damage by nearly 50%, obviously if you're running away and it's behind you, it's protecting you while you're escaping, so it's, but
Yeah,
it
that's
can get
useful.
in the way.
Yeah,
You can shoot it yourself,
it was confusing me at first.
and you just got ambushed again.
Missiles don't work too great in this little enclosed area. There we go, one of them hit.
And obviously the missiles will bash into your own gyro shield if it's in front of you too, so
Ooh.
it takes
Right.
some practice making
Yeah,
sure it's never in the way.
As soon as I figured out the gyro shield blocked my own projectiles, it's just like, you know what? It's worth like 2 or 3 grams of uranium. I'll just sell it.
Personally, I don't use the gyro shield until later in the game when you need every bit of defense you can get, because things are one-shotting you and...
Damn it, I went the wrong way. Yeah, I'll probably end up taking that shield off. It's kind of bothersome. What do we have here? Shield, go away.
Oh there, buddy. What was the key to ask for help against a unit again?
2.
Okay. Wait.
Oh yeah, in these spheres, up isn't up. There is no up.
There is in some. In this one there will be. If you use your C key in here, it will straighten you up to the room. But in some of the arenas, there is no up. And
It keeps
around.
flipping me around like crazy. I'm holding the C key.
Oh, come on. We got this.
What is...
Yeah!
So
I see
is it-
loot.
this
I want
room-
loot.
Yeah, and this is the reward for defeating this arena. But at the moment, what I've done here is it's like, here you go. I wanted to show you this, so you're thinking, oh, okay, there's loot here. Now, what do I need to do
Yeah.
to get it? And I'm not going to tell you what you need to do because it's fairly obvious just by exploring the room. It'll just happen. So, like, fly through that hole. Not that one. That's
The
where you
one in
came
the ceiling?
from.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, was the ceiling hole.
The one opposite the loot. There's
Oh, okay. I'm getting confused on where I came in from.
And as soon as you fly through here, it'll trigger the next event, which will be the final event for this arena. When you finish this, and the loot will be accessible.
Ooh, there's a destroyer. Ooh.
I'm just going to go through chat because I've kind of been missing it, and if anyone's been asking questions, it's been rude, isn't it?
Unfortunately, no. Well, last week I was Stone.
Yeah, he's nobody important.
Viewership on this podcast has been tanking lately, unfortunately. At least in terms of the live. I'm not sure how the bots have been doing.
About the same. They haven't tanked or anything.
Okay, I haven't missed any questions in chat, so...
Okay,
Again.
these guys with freaking lasers, go away. Or lightning here.
Yeah, well, remember lightning's got short range, so as long as you back out of the way, if you're using your main guns, they'll not be able to hit you. They'll have to switch to their main guns too.
Yeah, I'm using lightning too, though, so... Trying to get all the loot before it, like, degrades too much here.
I love how the destroyer can use electrocute. I feel like that wouldn't be the best. Oh no, that just seems like a silly idea. Just smashing into someone with a destroyer.
Yeah. Have you? It's even better combined with blink. So you teleport straight into their face and then electrocute them as you bump into them. Those two gadgets work very nicely together, and if you combine it with the flat cannon at the end, you can teleport into somebody, electrocute them, and then double do the equivalent of a double barrel shotgun in their face.
And since you're the destroyer, you have the HP to probably just tank anything they can throw at you while you're doing that.
The damn
Yeah.
shield
Nice.
blocks loot. Are you kidding me?
Let's see here. I can sell my old Raptor. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start hunting down some destroyers because that sounds like a wonderful ship.
Okay.
Okay, so this screen's allowing you to convert this area to either operating system or antivirus because you're friendly with both. You've
We'll
completed
go
it.
OS.
Scum.
Hey, it's what I do every day for my job, okay? I'm all about the OS. I work
see that the
IT,
loot-
so...
The loot
Loot!
cabinet's now open. And because you're already level 5, some of it will not be useful. I think one of them's the gyro shield. You'll find a level 5 energy storage unit. I can't remember what the other loot is here. But obviously if you'd completed this at level 1, this loot would be epic for you.
Yep.
And so the idea of the game is, now that you've kind of gone through your tutorial, your personal
Is there a
tutorial
shortcut out?
learning-
No?
Yes, go.
Oh.
Don't go up there. Don't. Wrong way.
Not. I'm turning around. You have a 10-second delay, so...
All right. Into the final room where you did most of the fighting, opposite from the loot. Opposite side of the room to the loot, and there's an exit there. On the opposite side of that room.
Aha. It's hiding.
And all the arenas will have an exit in the final room. Because nobody wants to fly back. But if you did fly back, you'd find that this arena is now full of friendly ships defending it.
That's good. All right. I think that we're going to call it good on that since we are about 10 minutes from the normal wrap-up time. We do end up going over sometimes, but let's go ahead.
Okay, do make sure you save it.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
It's good
It'll
old...
auto-save when you... It auto-saves when you dock, but you haven't docked for a while, so...
Okay. I like the good old manual saving instead of just being absolutely, like, auto-save every 10 seconds kind of thing like most games are these days.
Yeah.
But, you know, docking, it's a good idea to save at that point, too. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the Kickstarter Spotlight. Let me get the right thing up here. Today we are looking at, what is it called? Jotun, which has 4 days left and is 2,000 Canadian monies from its goal. So it's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and watch the trailer.
I think that'll make it. I'm not seeing it. Nope. No, I've still got a still image of the game.
Then your stream froze up.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah.
I'll refresh.
Jotun is a 2D top-down action exploration game for PC and Mac. It is an epic journey through Viking purgatory. In Jotun, you play Thora, a Norse warrior who has died an inglorious death and must face the challenges of Viking purgatory in order to prove herself to the gods and enter Valhalla. You explore a vast, randomly generated world to find runes which are used to summon the Jotun, mighty Norse elementals, and your primary foes. The gameplay focuses on the balance between atmospheric exploration and ferocious combat. Imagine the mood of Journey and the scale of Shadow of the Colossus in top-down 2D. Jotun's world is filled with content to discover. There are vast environmental puzzles, ghosts of heroes past, shrines to the gods, and many more mysteries to uncover. The combat in Jotun is fast-paced and brutally hard. Using only your massive two-handed axe, you must face off against foes which are hundreds of times your size. Every hit from a Jotun's attack will take out a huge chunk of your health. Be careful. Dying before you have completed your task will not impress the gods. Hi Kickstarter. My name is William Dubé, and I'm the founder of Thunder Lotus Games. Earlier this year, I quit my job as a mobile game designer to focus on my dream, making an indie title. Instead of making a game for everyone, I wanted to focus on a project with a specific target audience. Not everyone, not gamers, but PC indie gamers like me. I have 3 years experience in the games industry with 3 shipped titles and 2 game jams under my belt. I have been extremely lucky to be able to work with and learn from really passionate industry veterans. Jotun is in pre-production. We have a solid design, amazing art, and incredible music. We have a truly talented group of people so far, but we want to take Jotun so much further. We need your help to raise $50,000 to hire an artist and a programmer to join me full-time in a rental office space. Though the money is important, we want to know if Jotun is a game you want to play. We want to know what you think about our project. We want to involve you in the process of making this game. We want you to join the Jotun family. If you like what you've seen, please take a look at our backer rewards. Every penny counts, and we hope you'll find something you like. We are truly humbled by your support and are so very grateful for it. Thank you for backing, and see you in Purgatory.
And that is Jotun. It looks pretty fantastic. I'm digging the art style. I like Norse mythology, so
It's pretty cool.
it is.
It's looking good.
I like, the whole fighting giant monsters. That
And I'm not
sounds pretty
surprised
exciting.
it's nearly backed already.
Yep. I've seen a lot of people tweeting about it, and a lot of people are pretty excited about it. So, I'm, let's look at the thing here. 2,000 away of its $50,000 goal. 4 days to go. They'll make it. There's always that last push. Pretty much everyone that's backed it thus far, if nothing else, is going to throw a couple more bucks each at it to make sure it gets funded.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's guaranteed to be funded. Anything with, I think it's what they say, if you've got like 66 or 70% of your backing with 4 days to go, you'll make it.
Yeah, there's always that push. Everyone that's already in it always goes crazy at the end and promotes as much as they can or throws some more money at themselves. So
Yeah. I think it's gone up a couple of $100 just while we've been streaming.
probably has, yeah. So hopefully it's got 4 days left, so my VOD should go up before it actually finishes if I don't completely fail and forget to upload it like I did a couple weeks ago. And a couple days before the podcast, I didn't put the VOD up yet of the last one, but
Brilliant.
yeah, so hopefully when the people are watching this VOD, this is actually still going. And let me throw the link into the chat here for anyone that's interested. Looks like a great game. I'll definitely be checking it out when it comes out. I'll definitely make a video of that. I do like to look at what the highest tiers are because they always have some cool rewards. Let's see. The highest tier for 500 Monopoly money, fake money, is design a Jotun's attack or defense.
Not the most glamorous we've seen, but hey, that would be cool.
Yeah, but in the way, I'm fine with that because some games that works for things like have yourself as a character in the game and whatnot, but that would kind of compromise the artistic and story style, the Norse mythology stuff, if they're just throwing random people into it. So I kind of respect
haven't you ever heard of the great Nordic god Lee?
There probably is one.
That'd be kind of cool if there was.
Yep, but that's Jotun. It looks cool. I hope it gets funded. Looks like it's going to. And if you're interested, go and check it out.
There you go.
Where is OBS? Where did you go? There we are. All right, it's time to start wrapping up here. Paul, so Neon is coming to Steam in the near future, correct?
On Friday.
Friday. It's coming to Steam on
Friday next week.
Yep, and I know this because me and Gingerdragon are already playing on Steam because we get those cool before it's released things.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it feels really cool to play a game before it's released. But yeah, definitely expect a video from me on this game on on the 22nd.
Cool. I'll look forward to it. And feel free to put any of your videos on the game's community hub, on Steam, because it gets about 1,000 hits a day. So it's worth you sharing it with people on there too.
I really need to start doing that.
I do most-ish time, about half the time I remember to.
And a video like this, where it's like quite an in-depth look at something and other gaming features, I think people would appreciate it and upvote it on the community hub as well. I think you get quite a lot of attention from it.
Yep, I've definitely gotten some subs from doing that. Putting it on the community hub just as a video and throwing it up as a video review.
Yeah.
So you can definitely get some exposure out of Steam. Steam is just as useful to YouTubers as it is devs. So.
Yeah, you would be amazed. Like all the work I put into marketing and everything, Steam just dwarfs it. Just because it's on the coming soon list on Steam dwarfs all of the effort I put into marketing. And I emailed out 170 emails to people, and Steam just completely dwarfs the amount of people coming and having a look.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
It's good for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
The game couldn't be a success without it.
What's the price point going to be?
It's $20, and that's going to be the same price all the way through to full release. But on the first week, it's 10% off, so it'll be $18 on Friday for the first week.
So pick it up early.
Yep.
And it's already got 30 hours of content complete. So even if I never did any more work, you're already getting your money's worth for your $18.
You said your plan is out for like another 9 months of development, you said?
Yes.
Tentatively.
And that
can always change in the dev world.
Of course it can. But it's like the work that's left to be done now is to add more unique arenas to the final space stations. Like the first 3 space stations have got completely unique challenge arenas. But then they start repeating themselves with higher level enemies in them. but I plan to completely replace them. So as you go through the game, you can constantly unlocking new challenge arenas. And then for those later levels, I want hundreds more upgrades and more gadgets. So there's always something new to be unlocking and playing around with.
I did have a question I forgot to ask. Do you have any plans on bosses? Any type of bosses in the game?
No, because the game follows the rule: if you can see it, you can loot it. And
True.
if I had a boss, you couldn't really loot a big ship, and I want to always stick to that. So the challenge arenas were my way of doing boss encounters, and you'll find that as you do more of the arenas, they become bigger and more complex with like waves of enemies coming at you. So they're like a boss encounter without an actual one big boss.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
point.
yeah, it definitely feels that way because, a lot of those arenas do sort of have, sort of like dynamic changing in them and whatnot. So they do definitely feel like, it kind of feels like you're in something that's alive and it's trying to defend itself with the enemies it's throwing at you.
And they get very, very crazy. Especially like in the third space station, the arenas just start to do some crazy things.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
I don't want to tell you about them because it'll spoil it.
Now, of course, you just say you've been making this game for 2.5 years, and I remember seeing something on your site, I believe, where it's talking about you've put out over 850 updates to the game.
No, there's 850 upgrades.
Oh, I thought you read updates. I see. Okay, I was reading that wrong. It was like, what? Like, 2 a day?
No, no, it's about. I think we've done about 30. There's been about 30 actual patches and updates and upgrades and things, but like a bunch of those were during the early alpha stage where there'd be probably one a week. At the moment, before I had to start work on the Steam release, I was releasing a new update either once a month or once every 6 weeks, and that's what we can expect after the Steam release. It takes me about 6 weeks to build a new challenge arenas for a new sphere and add a new 50 to 100 upgrades and maybe a new feature here or there, just so there's something new. But they take about 6 weeks each.
Interesting. This is available already on Desura, I'll point out, so if anyone watched this, can't wait till Friday, you could grab it on Desura, but most people prefer Steam anyway, so watch on Friday. You follow him on Twitter, and I'm sure he'll be tweeting about when it comes out on Friday. And go ahead and throw in the chat some links where they can find you, more information on the game, etc., etc.
Okay, I'll just drop in a link to the Steam page because that links to everything else and has all the videos and whatever you need.
It's a game I highly recommend and expect a video from me in the near future of it as well. I'm not going to say it's going to come out on like launch day because I'm so backlogged, it's ridiculous. But I'll try to get to it shortly after it gets released, hopefully within still the buzz time, It's because I've been slacking on videos, been making like 2 videos a week, if that, and this week I'm starting to finally pick up the pace and get my game back going on. And I'm going to PAX soon, so I'm getting more motivated and from like my channel and its potential, and its growth and its future, making contacts with people at PAX and such like that. So I should be putting the effort in,
Yeah, I would like to go to some conventions, but obviously I need to make some money to be able to afford to first.
Now, there's some great ones in England that I would love to go to. I believe Rezzed is a really well-known one. Yeah,
and Eurogamer Expo as well.
Yeah, I would love to go to Rezzed some year. I have so many British friends. I would love to just go over there to a convention and then to be able to hang out with like Josh at Gaming FTL and Samurai Rabbit and the other British YouTubers I know. So many British people I know.
I'd love to do it.
And you, if maybe by the time I can actually afford to do that, you'll be able to afford to go to Res too.
Well, let's hope so, because the next year, if I can't afford to go to it, the game's failed. Basically, So if I can't afford to go to next year's Eurogamer, I'll be like, oh dear. Or I mean, there's a possibility it's made just enough for me to squeeze out another game, but I'd like to stick with this one. I've got a lot of ideas and plans for this one, and I hope it's a success so I can afford to keep doing it and improving the game and expanding it.
Well, if you get the game done and then release like a DLC kind of like Wrath of the Lamb kind of thing where it's a significant increase in items and variety and content in the game and make some more money off the game. I would gladly throw money at a DLC for this game.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to go more. Now, obviously, it's never going to sell anything like Minecraft because it's like a niche game that only goes to a small audience. But if you've got an avid audience, you know, and they keep recommending it, you don't always need to do DLC. If people constantly buying into your game, you can just keep releasing your DLC for free, which is kind of the plan for the next 6 to 9 months. All of the content I'm adding to the game is basically DLC. The core of the game's all there. It's all fully functional and working, so it's just extra content now.
Yeah, exactly. As my brother said, Stone's my brother in the chat, by the way. He's going to PAX with me a couple weeks now until we go to that. We're going to that. But as you said, like a lot of people are like a lot of gamers like DLC, but there's some DLCs that I think is a great value, and the developer deserves extra money for make extra money off their game for it. Like Wrath of the Lamb for Binding of Isaac is one of the few examples there. So if it's something that's that great of a value for an already good game, I'm fine with it. Now, if you're releasing hundreds of DLCs that are skins and shiny guns, then you're a complete douche.
Apparently, eBay dual passes.
I will stab you again.
Again? Wait, whoa.
That's a story for another day, but...
Every single day we learn even more twisted things about Fedora.
And that's where you want to leave it, isn't it? You want to say, in the next episode, we'll talk about when I stabbed my brother.
we will. If someone mentions it, remembers it, I might tell that story someday.
You know I'm going to hold you to this, Fedora.
Hey, Stone, you don't get lippy with me. I have all kinds of stories about you I could tell people. All kinds of stories, okay? I'm waiting for his reaction here. He's kind of slow typer or something.
That's his clumsy fuck. Oh boy. This'll be a good story.
No,
Yeah,
I pretended it was an accident, so I wouldn't get charges pressed.
Look, all I can say is that at least you didn't throw a homing cup full of water at your brother and give him a black eye.
I threw a homing comb at my brother once. And it was one of those that had like picks on the end of it, like wire picks, and literally the picks stuck in his forehead. Like I was in a mirror brushing my hair, combing my hair, and he was behind me doing something, mocking me or doing something stupid. I just turned around and wung it at him, and stuck right in. When he was trying to pull it out, you could see the skin pulling up from his forehead.
Oh God.
It was hilarious. I don't know why I remember that. It was pretty random, but he had 3 dots in his forehead for like a week. me and my brother, we're brothers. We do that kind of thing, you know.
Sibling warfare.
Exactly, sibling warfare.
Still, I'll never be more impressed with my brother, though, because I can't remember what the circumstances was, but he was refilling a cup of water, and he sees me, and I forget what I was probably doing something stupid. I was young. So he takes the cup and, throws it in my general direction. But the cup, it's like, it had like the perfect spin and everything. It just fucking zoomed in, boom, right in the eye socket, perfectly. It knocked me right down.
Did the liquid like stay
eye.
in the cup until like impact to keep the weight?
It did.
Wow, that's impressive.
Science.
And then it was an explosion of liquid as it nailed you in the eye socket, right?
Basically.
God, that would have made a great
wonderful.
slow-mo YouTube video.
I still remember because it was just vroom, 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 poof, right into me.
You need someone to animate this last conversation.
We do. Fedora, we need to get an animator.
It would be more entertaining by the animated version of you, of course, being a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
A dragon being felled by a cup of water. It would be perfect. Who do we know that can animate? Indiebox! I don't know how much that would cost us a lot, because we're not big enough YouTubers for him to do it for free, so... I still want to get him on the podcast someday, though. He's a great guy.
Go for it.
But yeah, let's finish the wrapping up thing. Gingerdragon, throw links and blah blah blah, all that.
All right,
go watch his stuff if you have nothing better to do.
Wow.
And I just want to say thanks for having me on the show, guys. It's been fun.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Alright, so anyways, over there on my Twitter, you can see me tweet about whatever it is, sometimes the life of a dragon in a human world, which can be very complicated. Sometimes it's about video games. Sometimes I'll even post funny situations that happen when I play video games off screen, like this. The best stalking ever.
I don't know, it's too small for me to retell what's going on there. It just like colors is all I see.
There's
okay.
so I'm
Ooh, you can
kind
zoom
of
in.
docked in one of the bases, but not really because there's a ship in the way. Like I basically got stuck on the ship, but before I could pull out, the docking completed. So there we go.
Okay. Was that innuendo, or are you talking about the game?
I'm talking about the game.
Okay.
It's not an innuendo.
Because that was so dirty. Just saying.
Anyways, on my Twitch, you can see me live stream various games. I mean, there really is no limit. I mean, things you can expect to come up is Dead Space 2, and I don't know, I might stream some of this game now that I'm in the new space station. Some of NeonXSZ, stuff like that. So yeah, I stream, but the core of my content is in the YouTube, Gingerdragon 87. I do my game prowls and my alpha dragons, in which I look at games that are either awesome or terrible. I basically show you what the game is all about, and then you can decide whether or not you want to buy it yourself. And of course, I have Let's Plays currently of FTL, XCOM Long Wars planned, and Rex Rocket is planned as well. And there you go.
Alright, and I'm Fedora Gamer. You can find me once a week here on my Hitbox channel for the Randomly Generated Podcast. I don't really do any other streaming besides the podcast because time constraints. Maybe someday I'll start streaming more. And if you're not following me already here, you should click that follow button. You can also find me over at YouTube, which is where I do most of my content, focused entirely on indie games, at youtube.com/Fedora Gamer with a 4 for the A in Gamer. And at Fedora Gamer on Twitter, and I'm not even going to throw links in the chat because I'm lazy and I don't feel like typing it right now. So that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right.